Hey everybody, y'all do me a favor. You already know, like this video, share this video, call your mom and your dad, tell them bring their ass over here. Y'all give me 5 minutes, well, 5 seconds. I gotta get my folks on MX Network on. Y'all already know. Y'all, let's have a conversation tonight. People be mad at me, but people be mad at me all the time. So if you're mad at me for anything, like welcome to the club. I don't care. Why y'all think people that's grown as hell be upset? Y'all be upset when people be mad at y'all, huh? Y'all really be caring? Y'all care that much? Y'all need to grow up some more. And what people say about you bother you, you should grow up. Just want y'all to know that. Grow your ass up, okay? I'm not making people mad again tonight, but that is not my goal. My goal is for us to have a conversation and put some shit into perspective. Okay. Now we are going to talk about something else really quickly. We're going to talk about this. Today was like a blackout. We weren't supposed to boycott, right? We're going to go down the rabbit hole tonight on a whole lot of stuff, y'all. Okay. We're going to go much deeper than the surface of this boycott. I think it's some bullshit, and I'm gonna tell you why. There's somebody already like, see, look at your cooning. How is you pro-black and you mad at a boycott? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm gonna show you how much we are manipulated, we are played, and they use black folks for every damn thing except for anything that has to do with us. It's rather like disrespectful. And I'm tired of watching black people play the fool for everybody else. I really am. Okay. Then we're going to get into this conversation, you guys, about of course, you know, the budget that was passed or whatever. Everybody is making this noise. Everybody's online. A bunch of white people too. I made sure I added the white folks to my thumbnail. Now you already know that everything I do is for a reason. I understand that visuals are subliminals and everything else. It's white people on that thumbnail for a reason. Okay. Now we're going to talk about everybody, but for black folks that's so upset, I need you to calm down, because the people who are affected the most by this thing you're boycotting today, I didn't know we was boycotting because I don't pay attention like that. I mean, I knew they said the 28th, but I should have went out and bought a bunch of shit. But I've been at home all day. I should have went to Target and got my son some new Beats headphones and recorded that shit and put it on Instagram. I'd made a whole lot of people mad at me. That's all right. I think I like people being mad at me. I think I kind of like it. I like it a lot. Okay. But we're going to talk about this because all of these things y'all worried about black people. Now we're going to keep it true, because everybody says somebody said that it must have been one of Goddess Masterpiece people talk about, I'm out here for these Trump biscuits, butter biscuits. So now I went from pro-black to I'm a coon. So I'm going to show y'all how stupid y'all is. Because I don't understand. This is the thing. Everybody that tells me they're pro-black, they move on their emotions. There's no logic behind what they're saying. Because if you was really a pro-black, what the fuck is you mad for? Why are you mad? Why are you mad? Because you would know all the things that we're getting ready to talk about, whether they're truths to them or not, they do not affect black people the most. I thought we were minding our black business. Maybe that's the problem. You don't know what your business is and your business ain't. So if you claim to be pro-black, you are triggered. And every time they throw a black person in front of you and tell you this is your fight, black people, you think that it's our fight, because you don't really think about it for yourself. So you go with the crowd. Just because it's 1,763.5.24 motherfucking black people over there, that don't mean I'm running over there just because they black. That's what pro-blacks this day do. They go with the crowd of what most black people they think are saying. I'm here for us to have some real logic and reason. Like, you know, I was told I was an old bitch, you know, earlier this week by another old bitch who had the nerve to act like she wasn't an old bitch too. Okay. But this old bitch don't have no energy to be fighting battles that don't have nothing to do with me and mine. Right? Somebody say, anyone who didn't vote for Trump, give me your $5,000. Well, I did not vote for Trump. I didn't vote for nobody, but I want my $5,000. Goddamn it. I'm keeping mine. You can't have mine, okay? But I didn't vote for his ass. I didn't vote for Kamala either. I don't vote. I don't vote in the national elections. I think that local voting matters, but we're gonna have this conversation tonight, you guys, on a much deeper level. So I'm gonna need y'all. We're gonna walk into the conversation slowly, and I'm probably gonna drop the link when we get towards the end. We're not gonna have a full panel. I'm gonna let people come up one by one. I'll take a couple of callers, and when I say a couple, I mean a couple. Okay. When I say you got 5 minutes, I mean you got 5 minutes, not 17 minutes, not 7.5. I mean 5. I'll put a damn timer on or something, okay? But we're gonna go down this rabbit hole, y'all. There's a lot for us to address. And where we're gonna start this conversation, because I'm gonna take you through the layers of the rabbit hole. I'm not just gonna drop you in the bottom of the abyss, not right off the bat. So where we're gonna start is not really ultimately where I want this conversation to go, but I am going to walk you through the stuff that seems to matter to everybody and let you see every facet of it. Then I'm gonna take you to a facet that nobody sees, because we are mindless, conditioned people. Don't take that in the wrong way. I want you to understand that the government's biggest weapon on you is your mind and how they control it. They control your thoughts. I know that most of y'all think you walk around every day, what you eat, what you get up and do, how you think, what you watch on TV, your political perspectives, your relationship perspective. I know that a lot of y'all think that all of those things are your own thoughts, but they are not. They are not. There's been a long life or short life of them being planted inside of your mind through subliminal messaging, sometimes not subliminal, just in your fucking face all day long. And the government controls the mind and they control the masses. See, this is the problem with social media, is that too many of the masses are getting wakened up because there are people that are telling the truth, and everybody are having these glitch in the matrix, and every now and then they don't reject the truth that they see because it just makes too much sense. So then everybody kind of gets on this rampage of, maybe I shouldn't believe all this stuff. And then there's this process of undoing everything that you've been taught, okay? And so they playing this game with y'all, and I'm going to take people back. If you're new to me, welcome to Michi's Mind. Sometimes they call me crazy, and I think that in the midst of intelligence, there's always a little bit of insanity. So I'll take the crazy. I'll be crazy. That's fine. I'm okay with that, okay? You can call me crazy. But for those of y'all that have been around for a while, where we're going to end this conversation, I've been telling you the shit I'm about to say to you for forever. And we never remember this in the midst of the conversation we're going to have tonight. Y'all don't see the end goal. Y'all don't see the end goal of where all of this is eventually going. So you don't see how all of this is playing into the end goal. I'm not talking about Trump or whoever in the White House. It don't matter. Remember, there is an agenda. There is a new world order. There is a new society that is coming. If you really understand as much as we've talked about society and where we are headed, you will know not Trump, not his mama, not his daddy, not a Rockefeller, not a Rock the Bells with LL Cool J, not a goddamn thing, not your Jesus, not no Buddha, not no whatever savior you think you got. Nothing is going to stop where we are going, and everything plays into that ultimately. And y'all tend to forget that when y'all be crying and complaining over programs and structures that have to be weaned out because there's something new coming. They're not supposed to exist anymore. But y'all forget that. And if you've been watching me, you're not supposed to forget that, because we've been talking about this shit since COVID, y'all. Okay? Now, before we get too deep into this rabbit hole, let me pull you back out real quick, because I know we already went down a little bit. I want to play a video about some shit real quick, you guys. Before I do want to give a quick announcement. Y'all do me a favor, like this video, share this video. I know I'm not cussing nobody out today, okay? So y'all know y'all love the drama. We're the 1,800 people for the education and the resetting of your mind. See, I should have titled this video, "Bitch, I'll slap you and your mama." We'd have had 2,700 people watching already. That's a damn shame. That's part of that conditioning. Niggas say they want to get free. No, you don't. No, you don't. You do not. You just like drama. So that's why you don't want to watch the shit you're supposed to watch, okay? But my birthday is Monday, everybody. Shout out to me. My birthday's Monday, okay? So some of y'all been asking me. I had some emails. Meet you got classes, you got your consultations, your one-on-one. You're asking me about the boot camp. So For my birthday, y'all love me. So y'all like to send me cash apps and do stuff for me. I would like to say celebrate with me. Let me give you something back in return instead of y'all just giving me money or giving me things, right? So for everybody that has been inquiring and asking, I have sales all weekend until my birthday is over at midnight on Monday. So if you would like to get into the 6-week boot camp, you guys, you can get $100 off. But at the Monday get here, that's it. And that's all. And don't start till April. But you might want to get in now if you want to be in the 6-week boot camp. Okay. Because after April, that's not going to end until May. I'm taking a break. I'm tired of teaching class back to back to back between going live. I just got out of class, okay? Not from the boot camp, from my mentorship group, and I had like 30-minute break, and then I'm right back in front of the camera. So I need a break from having to be in front of my computer so much. So after the April boot camp, I'm probably not going to teach another one until the end of the summer, going into the fall, okay? But I'm also limiting my class. I'm also going to tell you guys first because I will actually be promoting the ads. You know, that dumbass bitch, Goddess Masterpiece, said I paid to go viral. that's what y'all said. She said she told y'all on her video she paid to go viral. I didn't say I paid to go viral, dummy. I said I paid to have an ad put on World Star Hip Hop that I promote myself. So I'm getting ready to post the ad about my boot camp. And when that happens, hundreds of people want to sign up. I have to limit my boot camp, y'all. So I'm telling y'all first as my audience that's been asking me, and you get a $100 discount, okay? So when you check out, it is some codes that you should use. The code for that is boot camp. But in the description of the video, you will see all of that. Some of y'all should have got an email if you're in my email list with all of the different codes, okay? So you can get $100 off the boot camp. People be like, Michi, how much the boot camp? $299, okay? And you got 12 whole classes, sometimes more, okay? We're going to learn over 10 ways to make money. Everything I do, I show you my shit. If I got students in the class, they will tell you that. I don't teach nothing I don't know, and I can pull up my own shit and show you. Matter of fact, I do, okay? I'm going to teach you how to build your own website. I'm going to teach you marketing and a whole lot of extra stuff that, you know, every class is different. I tailor my boot camps. You get to actually in a live class. I don't just talk to y'all every Wednesday. You could check in with me. You can show me what you're working on. You can let me help you with it. You can ask me as many questions as you want. I will walk you through all of that stuff. This is why I limit how many people in my class. I cannot have 500 people in the class because on Wednesdays when we have our check-in meetings and y'all want to ask me about what I'm teaching, I don't have the capacity to help 500 people. So I do limit my boot camps, okay? So if y'all want to get in, the price is going back up on Monday, okay, after my birthday. So Tuesday, okay, it's going to be going back up. So if you want $100 off, you can go over there and do that all this weekend. Put in code boot camp when you check out. Now, for those of you who keep telling me, Michi, I need more one-on-one help, you can get 25% off of all of my consultation packages, you guys. That is in the description of this video as well. There is a code for that. I think the code for that is consultation. But anyway, it's in the description of the video. Also, for those of you who have already taken classes, or if you are already starting your own business, but you would like some support and some help, we do have a mentorship group that is $49.99 a month. And we meet twice a month. And so we just had a class. That's where I just got out of class from. We just had a brother come in and we've been talking about the marijuana industry, CBD, Delta 8, THC, and all of that. So we are talking about online dispensaries and all of that good stuff for people who are interested in those type of things. That's what we talked about tonight. So our next class, we're going to have somebody come and talk about business structure. We go over all kinds of things that you need help with, right? So whichever you need, you can get in where you fit in. If you need the boot camp, you can fit in there. If you need more one-on-one help, you can get you a consultation. If you want to come over and join the mentorship group, it is 2 classes a month. It is $25 a class. It's $50 a month. But right now, you can use the code that's in the description and you can come for your first month for $35. Okay. So if you want to check that out, see, and you can watch all the prior classes that we've already had in that month. Okay. So anyway, y'all quit asking me about it. I know y'all got your taxes back because y'all keep emailing me like, Michi, when is the boot camp? And it's on my site. How do y'all email me, but y'all can't never find it on my site? So it's there. Boom. And it's there with a whole lot of discounts. Okay. Then my birthday celebration discount. So you know, if you want to do something for you, instead of just giving me something for my birthday, if you wanted to take a class, if you ever wanted a consultation, just get something back in return. Go ahead. And if it's something you want to try, do that. I would rather have you get something back in return. So I'm giving y'all some discounts. You can celebrate with me that way. All right. Shout out to you out of the Matrix. Thank you for that. Says happy birthday. Let me put this up here. My son ready for another one of those survivalist events. We had such a great time. He still talks about the flamethrower. Girl, guess what? I ordered me a flamethrower. See, that one was not mine, but that's my birthday gift to myself. I actually have a flamethrower coming. Yeah. That was fun, right? So we do have to put on another event, but I have to work on that. Maybe in the summer we'll do an event. That's what we'll do. Instead of doing some boot camps, I'm gonna do an event. Maybe a Black agenda, or we do add survival too, but it's not the same as the survival event. We actually was out there for a couple of days surviving. So we'll do something this summer. We'll do an event to do that. But somebody said you a mess. Why I'm a mess? Look, you said that he be talking about the flamethrower. He know what's up. You know you want a flamethrower too. I wanted one, so I got me one for my birthday. Happy birthday to me. It will not be here by my birthday, but when it get here, I'm going somewhere to just set some shit on fire. Okay, so if I get arrested and y'all don't see me for a while, I'm in jail for arson. Somebody come bail me out. Okay. Saying I'm not gonna burn that shit down, but I be waiting for the day. Like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, let us go into civil war. And the day you think you're gonna break up in my house, I'm gonna get the flamethrower. I'm gonna set your ass on fire before I shoot you. Yep. You're gonna be in the garage. I'm gonna set you on fire, then I'm gonna shoot you, and then I'm gonna put you out so you don't set nothing else on fire. I'll put you out, but I'm gonna put you out after I set you on fire and after I shoot your ass. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the day to use it, the proper way. I mean, what other reason you have a flamethrower for? So anyway, those descriptions are in the links to everything are in the description of this video. If you do not want to watch all the commercials over here on YouTube, you can also get your subscription to MX Network, and you don't have to watch any of those commercials. You guys can come over here and talk in the chat and come over to MX Network, and you can be commercial free. All right. So with that said, y'all, I'm gonna play a video now. Let's get into this this boycott situation. Okay. Let me put this up here. Shout out to you, D Major. Thank you for that super sticker. I appreciate that. And shout out to you. Thank you, Danielle, for the early happy birthday. My birthday on Monday, y'all, but I'm celebrating today and all next week. Okay, it's my birthday. When you get older, you have the right to celebrate all month if you want to, okay? Because you're the one paying for the celebration. When you grow, so you can party as long as you want. And I'm lying. I ain't gonna party. I'm gonna be right here at home. I'm boring, y'all. I know it's my birthday. Unless somebody be like, Michi, you want to go do something? You know where Michi gonna be? Right here at home doing nothing. That's the way I like it. That's where I'm gonna be. All right, y'all. I want to play this video clip. Let's talk about the boycott first before we get into the topic that is in the title, because I think it still plays into everything that we have to talk about tonight. So let me share this. Mm-hmm.
Now to that call to action for consumers across the United States, an economic blackout targeting major retailers. Today, New York's Tracy Strahan's in the newsroom now to explain the message behind this shopping boycott. Tracy.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about it, Darlene, and that boycott is now underway. It started at midnight. Now, the lack of spending is aimed at sending a message about consumer frustrations about things like rising prices and retailers deciding to end their diversity efforts.
If you don't respect our community, then, you shouldn't have our dollars.
Today's boycott is being called an act of economic resistance. Grassroots organizers are urging Americans not to shop or spend money at major corporations or for about 24 hours. All of it aimed at showcasing buying power. Those participating in the protests say it's a pushback to the recent influence of billionaires, big corporations, and major political parties on the lives of working Americans. Major stores like Walmart and Target recently announced plans to roll back their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs after President Trump signed an executive order ending those programs and policies.
The time for silence is over.
All right now.
And we refuse to stand by while corporate greed devours our communities.
We have to make our voices heard in their pockets. There is absolutely no other choice that I would have.
Activists are urging customers to abstain from making any purchases, whether in-store or online. Participants are being urged to avoid buying fast foods or filling up their cars with gas. Shoppers with emergencies or in need of essentials are being urged to support local businesses, small ones instead. Now, another nationwide economic blackout is being scheduled for March 28th, and that one's going to last for 24 hours as well. Darlene?
Tracy Strahan.
Now, I want to tell y'all that this is some bullshit. Does anybody, before I get into it, want to know why? Like, it's amazing to me how many Negroes they can find as soon as they need you to be the face of something. I just want to know, like, when has the news ever promoted a boycott for Black shit that have to do with some stuff for Black people for real? This is all over the news. It was, every news channel had this up there. So basically, the news is spreading the word. Now, let me ask you something. Why are Black people standing in front of this? Let's go back to the beginning. DEI is not you, Black people. Is there anybody who we don't understand that yet? I'm going to drop the link at the end of this so y'all can come up and tell me your opinion on this or what we're getting ready to talk about. But DEI is not us. Why are Black people fighting for white women? They are the #1 recipients of DEI. Have you not seen all the white women online crying about how they lost their jobs after the DEI thing went into effect? You didn't see Black women up there crying. Do y'all still not understand that DEI is not us? See, where are my day ones? Because I've always told you this is why we don't allow them to put us in a category of minority nor people of color. Why have I always told y'all that? Because they will use our face to try and get sympathy for these groups that they want to attach us to. But whenever the benefit comes, the benefit never benefits us. Now, I know I said a lot there, but did y'all catch that? When they tell you people of color and minority groups are opening businesses or we're giving these grants to minorities, they'll say minorities and they'll say, oh, we've given away millions of dollars to minorities and grants to start businesses, but you're not being specific. Those grants was not given to Black people, but you use a Black person's face when you tell the news story. You put a Black person's face on your goddamn a billboard to make people think this is who you're helping, but then you find out that those loans went to Hispanics. That's where the grants went. They went to Hispanics because, see, they're considered a people of color, right? So when you talk about groups that are discriminated against, minorities and all of those things, apparently y'all don't know that white women are considered a group that is a group of people that don't get all the things they're supposed to get. Women are supposed to be oppressed and they don't get as much in this country either. And now we have men with dresses on who wanted to have the right to be women too, so that they could say they could oppress other women from being women. I don't know. That's a whole nother goddamn story, but you get where I'm going. So they always use our face. Shout out to you, Walter. Thank you for that donation on MX Network. I appreciate you, Walter. Walter show love every single video. But I want y'all to think about that. So DEI, let's go over it again. There's a list of recipients. So let's go over them in order. The biggest benefactor of DEI is white women. And let's be clear, this is another fancy word for, letting them come in based off of their group, right? This is that affirmative action, right? So DEI says you're getting them so you can have diversity within your company, but the diversity is women because they're oppressed against, right? So that's the diversity. It's not Black people. And they are not hired based on their skills. Let's be real. They are hired based on the fact that they fill a guideline for a company that says you have to have so many DEI hires. So we can see that you are not, biased against a certain group of people. You have to prove you don't have these prejudices against people. So we need to see that you're hiring across the board. So they will hire somebody, a white woman, #1, just to say we fill this position. She doesn't have to be qualified at all. Okay, She don't got to be qualified at all. Now, the next recipient of DEI after white women, white men actually fit in there too. Did you know that white men don't get up in there? Although that's crazy, right? But they fit in there. But right underneath the white women, the very small amount of white men, guess who's next? You think it's us? It's Hispanics. Hispanics come in after before your black behind. Because we need to diversify when it comes to Hispanics. You know them Hispanics that you fought for the civil rights so that they could come over here and have some rights, and then they get all of this stuff. So they hire Hispanics, you know. And the funny thing is, remember, DEI hires are not because they're qualified, but yet and still propaganda in the media keep telling you that Hispanics and these immigrants that are Hispanic are some of the most hardest, most capable workers. But DEI say you ain't capable. DEI just says we hired your Hispanic ass to fill a quota. They got to quit with these contradictions. So guess who come after Hispanics? Who come after Hispanics? You think we come after them? No, baby. So after them comes Asian people. You know, the $5 more people. You want Matt Top coat? $5 more. It's 2025. They charge you $15 now. Ain't no more $5 in the salon for nothing. Everything is $15. Okay. They next. Have you ever seen a homeless Asian person? Send me a picture when you see one. Y'all seen an Asian person in the line at the welfare office? When you do, send me a picture of one, because I ain't never seen it. So we must be after the Asian people, right? Surely. No. They put the new group before us. You know, the newest group. We always been here. We fought for all these so-called DEI, which is in civil rights, that people should have this. And you fought for them. But your black ass didn't get nothing. So after them, guess who's next? LGBTQAIPZYT, your mama and your daddy. Shout out to you. Thank you, honey. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. They're after that, LGBTQ. Surely we come after LGBTQ, right? No, you don't. Guess who comes after LGBTQ? Disabled people. But do we come after disabled people? No, you do not. Who comes after the disabled people? Veterans. Then here come your black ass. Do you even make it like that's like number 7 or 8 on the list? Does that even qualify for being on the list? Now, what I'm telling you is a fact. You can go and look this up. So, with that being said, why are black people the face of a boycott? Because DEI was dismantled. I need you to explain it to me. Can anybody explain it to me? When I drop the link, maybe somebody could come up here and explain it to me, because I'm not understanding, because I thought y'all said, because a lot of black people voted for Kamala, black men and black women, according to statistics, if you believe them, y'all stuck with y'all bullshit ass vote, right? So y'all was so mad at the rest of America. We're just going to stick with what y'all said. I don't even want to take y'all too deep down why you should be doing it. You said you was minding your black business. I want you to understand, this is not your business, black people. What y'all doing? D-Major said, I thought you was about to rap. You know, sometimes I might bust into a rhyme. You know, I'm a poet, you know. I rap too. I got a little album, but sometimes when I talk, it come out like that. You know, it could have been a rap. You know, I rhyme sometimes like Dr. Seuss when I ain't even trying. Maybe. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you, Queen Lioness. Thank you for that super sticker. I appreciate it. I'm just saying, why are we not minding our black business? Because this ain't our business. Y'all said y'all was not helping nobody. Why you out here fighting for white women right now? And this is how we get so drugged into anything. So there's another level to this, okay? Let's say nobody knew all of this. Now that I've said this, and people will understand this, I want you to now get real in a sense of feeling disrespected. Because watch this. Times have Black people talked about boycotting. Let's be clear. Withholding your dollar is one of the most powerful weapons that we actually have. I and other Black people have been speaking about boycotting for forever. We watch all of these injustices happen to Black people. There's plenty of stuff that happens to us, and it definitely has to do with us. It does. Shout out to you, Kimberly. Thank you for the super chat if I didn't say so. And thank you, Nurse Petty. All right. Petty Nurse and Petty too. Petty Nurse and Petty Meech. It's okay to be petty sometimes. I'm grown enough to realize I could be what I want to be. When you're a kid, they tell you you're not supposed to you're supposed to be nice, you're supposed to share. No, you're not. You're supposed to not be petty. Don't do that. Don't talk about people. But I'm grown now, so I can do what I want to do. I waited to be grown so I could cuss, I could be petty, I could not share. I want y'all to think about that though. That's our most powerful weapon. Black people. Now, trust and believe me, when we talk about DEI, we're the smallest group, but yet we're the biggest face on the front of making people act like this is a racist thing. Removing DEI is not racist at all. It's not racist at all. But they want you to think it's racist so they can play the race card. And all of the pro-Black people who want to tell me I would be kissing ass if I made a video right now rolling around at empty-ass Target with a shopping cart buying all kind of shit. Oh, look at her clooning. You so confused. You don't even know what's really going on. So we're using our biggest power to fight for other people. They make it our face, but we're the smallest group. But check it out. When it comes to boycotting, though, we are one of the biggest group that spends. We're the smallest group here, but we're the biggest group that spends. Are we not? So us joining this boycott, our dollars will have a big effect to help a group that we won't even receive the thing that we're doing behind it. And the crazy part is, I've been living a long time. When the fuck you ever seen the news have an effort where everywhere on the news, this is the crazy part. You do know a white man started this boycott. How many of you know that? Do y'all know that? On Instagram, it is a white man who said he was finna do a boycott on the 28th called the Blackout, and everybody should follow him and we should boycott this because of what's going on with DEI. A white man started this boycott. A white man. And then the news decided to pick it up and run with it and spread it everywhere. As Black people, how many times have we tried to do a boycott and the news don't promote our boycott? See, them promoting it hits people's nerves, it hits people's emotions, and a lot of people didn't even know about the boycott. But now that the news has told you about it, it's spreading it everywhere. So there are people that found out about the boycott because of the news. So they said, I didn't know it was a boycott, but now that I know, I'm going to participate in it. So the news helped to spread the boycott for DEI. A white man started it, but Black people is the face of it. Are you fucking serious? Why haven't Black people used this power? Because y'all don't want to strap up. You don't want to go to the Capitol. You don't want to go to the White House. You don't want to go to the police stations. You don't want to go to City Hall. You don't want to do that. Because when you watched a bunch of white people do that and go against the government that's their enemy, y'all called them racist. Y'all laughed and thought it was a joke. Some shit that Black folks would never have the balls to get up and do. We've already null and void the fact that we're not going to get up. We're not going to get marching orders. We're not going to put boots to the ground. We're not going to go against the enemy and take it to the government. We're not going to do that. We're not even going to pretend like we're going to do that anymore. You remember, I got the name for being crazy, not because I cuss people out. Remember, I'm the crazy chick who want people to run out there and die. Ain't that what y'all used to say about me? Because I told y'all it's one solution to the problem that we face. And that one solution is the very thing that you are willing to live for, you must be willing to fight for it and die for it and kill for it if that's what you must do. And y'all didn't want to put boots on the ground and fire the shit. Everybody didn't want a flamethrower. Y'all ain't want me to buy y'all flamethrowers and we just go out here and get it popping. Nobody wanted that. Remember, I was crazy. I'm ridiculous to think that, because we're a bunch of punk motherfuckers who want to leave this fight to the next generation, which is our children. I don't know. As a parent, I think the one thing you're obligated to do more than anything else is when you see that your child is getting ready to live a slow death in the next generation. I don't know, if a car was about to hit your kid, would you jump in front of it? I don't know about you, but I'd die for mine. But because you act like you don't see the death and the oppression and the next level that's coming for your kids, you don't think this fight is yours, so you're gonna leave this fight to your kids. That's some punk shit. But that's a whole nother story. So I won't even go there. The next most powerful thing that you have, if you're not gonna get up and do that, is your dollar. So when have you ever seen Black people boycott to this extent over something that actually does affect us? Y'all niggas will get poster boards and march down the street. That's what y'all do. Y'all get bullhorns and y'all demand things that if the demands are not met, you're not going to do anything about it. So what are you making demands for? We'll do that. But I've seen no Black people boycott and keep our money to ourselves because we are unjustly treated in the justice system. But we cry about it all the time. I've never seen Black people boycott to make sure that our children get the education they need or to stop the school to prison pipeline. I've never seen Black people boycott to stop systematic racism. And then I damn sure have not seen Black people do that on a large scale. I've never seen the news get behind you and promote it so that all these other races that want us to fight for their cause so they can get their ass on board with us. Because it's amazing how when they want us to fight for them, we're all people of color. We're all minorities. But when the fight is really only about Black people, none of these people get on board with us. None of the minorities, none of the people of color, they not down for our fight. Never. That's how you know this is not about us. Because if this DEI was really about Black folks, the news wouldn't be promoting that shit at all. White people wouldn't be talking about let's do a boycott. You wouldn't have all of these folks that are not Black joining the boycott. Y'all just got played like a punk. But there's going to be some Black people who are going to tell me that right now I'm cooning and I'm tripping. This is why Black people can't get nowhere. Every bit of energy and fight that we have, we get so manipulated, we use it for the wrong groups of people and it benefits us nothing. And then when it's really time to fight for ourselves, we don't have enough energy and power to fight for ourselves on our own. And all of these groups we join, they never join in with us when it's time for us to fight for something. I mean, y'all gonna do this boycott, you might as well go down to the immigration office and cry for the fucking immigrants. You know, like Black people was doing some years back, right before the Biden administration. Remember when y'all hated Trump so much his first term? Y'all remember y'all was down at ICE protesting about this, y'all taking people babies away from them. I mean, when people commit crimes, they do take their kids away from them because you can't take them to jail. Have Black people ever protested at the police station and told them when they start arresting Black people and they have their kids, stop taking their kids and putting them in foster care? Like when you commit a crime and you go to jail, your kids don't go to jail with you. They actually go to a family member or they go to foster care. So why was y'all crying for immigrants when you cross the border illegally? That's the key word. That means they're a criminal. It's an illegal act. You know, like that same illegal act that got you arrested just because you simply didn't have no car insurance or you were driving on a suspended license. Not nothing violent. Because if you want to dismiss them crossing the border, it's still illegal. Then let's dismiss the fact that you don't have no insurance and a driver's license. I mean, really, it's just a piece of paper. You know how to drive. Why they bug? It's just another scam to get money from you. How long do you pay insurance and you never crash? Like at some point, you should crash that bitch just so you can cash it in because goddamn, you done gave them a lot of money. But because of that, if they take you to jail and you got kids in the back and nobody can come get your kids, guess where your kids is going? Have you ever protested and cried for that, Black people? Because y'all was down at ICE crying about that. So I'm gonna need y'all to not be mad at the immigrants anymore. You might as well just get into your we feel sorry for everybody bag. Since you're gonna do this dumbass boycott, go on down there and fight for the immigrants too. Go and protest against ICE. Go ahead and get your water and get your bullhorns and get your sneakers on and get ready to go protest and cry for the immigrants. Because you love fighting for the same people you claim are our enemies and the same people that help bring about our demise. It's amazing that white women wiggle their way in the DEI. Wow. I thought they were the right hand of white supremacy. I guess we forgot that part, right? But I'm the one who's not pro-black right now. Nah, y'all the ones acting like y'all don't know what the fuck pro-black means, and y'all do everything else but what the fuck benefit black people. I would beg to differ if you tell me I'm not the pro-black one right about now. You niggas is not the pro-black ones that's out here doing this dumb stuff. So that's just a little bit food for thought, because that's not even what the video is about. But I saw that and I just wanted to say something about it, because today is the boycott. You heard the news. They're supposed to have another one on March 28th. Maybe we can wake some black folks up before March 28th happens and they can stop hopping their happy ass on the news. You notice in the news, they showed two black faces. Community activists. You ain't never seen them niggas in life. They just went and find a couple niggas who claim to be activists. Like, you won't get on the news. It's your time to shine, bro. And most activists in the black community just want to be seen. It's all about their ego. It's really not about the work. And that's a fact too. If you ain't been in the streets, you just don't know. If you have, you will not disagree with me. So as soon as the camera say, come and put your, they think they made it. Mama, I was on the news. You see my grassroots? You got 4 people in your damn organization. You was on the 5 o'clock news and now you done made it. So it's a nigga always willing to get the spotlight. Grassroots organizations. Y'all ain't grassroots. Y'all dumb as hell. Y'all need to sit down. You make black people look bad, okay? But majority of black people are going along with this. Y'all think that shit is cool. So, you know, I don't know who's making who look bad. I think the white folks is playing y'all, making y'all all look really bad. What they said, y'all. Do me a favor, like this video, share this video, subscribe if you have not, hit that notification bell. More importantly, if you don't want to watch the commercials that are on here, you can come over to MX Network. The link for that is in the description of this video, and you can come and watch the rest of this show over on MX Network without any commercials at all. So let's play a video about what we came here today to talk about. This in the title, okay? Y'all tell me, right? How many of y'all upset? Y'all know this budget just passed, okay? So they just passed this budget. And in this budget, if you've read the budget, which I'm sure a lot of people have not, I'm gonna let this man on the news explain it to y'all, and he white. So, you know, I think it'll be received better. When niggas say shit, y'all don't believe nothing we say. That's programming too. But everybody keeps saying, well, Medicaid is leaving, right? That they're going to cut Medicaid and cut you off Medicaid. They're going to cut all the food stamps, and they're going to cut the school program. So we're going to talk about how we get there from what happened, although we're not there yet. And I'm going to tell you that's not true, but I'm going to tell you it is true. And then we're going to go into why it is true and what you should actually be focusing on, okay? So, and then after we discuss this, I will drop the link if any of you have an opinion on anything about what I have discussed. And if you have a difference of opinion, just let me say this. I'm only letting one person up at a time. But if you come up here and deflect, because it's about to be my birthday, so I'm really not going to do it because this shit irritate me to my soul. Do not come up here and not answer the question and have a conversation with me. If I say something to you and it makes you have a realization that maybe you're wrong, just say that or say you don't know. But don't come up here and try and bullshit me, because that's going to piss me off and I'm going to just kick your ass off. So I'm just telling you now so you can start to prepare yourself before you even click my damn link, all right? So let's watch this, y'all. Everybody's mad that food stamps is going away, Medicaid is going away, kids ain't gonna get no school lunch. Remember, a couple of weeks ago, people was arguing this on my panel before the budget had even dropped. Remember how they kept saying this was gonna happen? So the funny thing is, I want y'all to keep in mind, how is it that people were speaking this? Think about this. Put this little pointer in your pocket. People were talking about this before it ever came about. People, if y'all remember, what was it, 2 Saturdays ago? People were saying he getting ready to cut off people's Social Security checks. People not gonna get no food stamps. People not gonna get no Medicaid. Kids ain't gonna get school lunch. And y'all remember me saying, who didn't get their Social Security check? Who didn't get your food stamps this month? What kid didn't get fed at school? Y'all remember that? So before this even happened, those things have already been put into mind by the news. And then here they come voting on some shit that kind of does say that, but not really all the way. I want you to understand how no matter what side we're talking about in the government, even though some people ain't going to receive this and you still going to come up here and tell me, aside from what I said is about to go over your head, that Trump still works for the government. And whether you get a Democrat, they work for the government too. Trump can come in and make some changes just like any other politician can. But there is an ultimate goal that they have to get to. And there will not be one person that will come into the government and change the trajectory of where we're actually going. There is a new world order that was planned long before you even knew who Trump was. A Trump Tower, You're fired, The Apprentice. You didn't know nothing about that man, and this plan was already being put into play. He will never stop that. Matter of fact, some of the things he's doing is helping to implement that, okay? So y'all need to keep that in mind while y'all crying about these programs that you will not have any need for in the future. Okay, so let's watch this news clip about everybody who says that all of this stuff is going away. It's going away. Thank you so much. Thank you for the birthday wishes and for the super chat. I appreciate it.
House Republicans' President Trump-backed budget bill narrowly passes with a slim 217 to 215 margin, paving the way for sweeping spending cuts and $4.5 trillion in tax cuts. Our very own Rick Newman joins us now on this. Rick, your analysis of this entire bill that made its way through.
It's a first step. So those numbers that you just showed, those are the baselines. It doesn't say what the tax extensions or tax cuts will be, and it doesn't say what the spending cuts will be, and that's going to be the hard part. So just to go back to it, Brad, you said that you just showed $2 trillion in spending cuts that are going to have to be part of this bill. So that is over 10 years. So call it $200 billion per year. That's hard. It's hard to cut that much spending, and there are not a lot of places you can do that. So in order to finance the extension of these tax cuts and some new tax cuts, it's looking like there are almost certainly going to have to be sizable cuts in Medicaid. That's the health program for the poor, and then also in perhaps things like Pell Grants or food benefits also for the poor. That's just where the money is. And that's assuming that there are not going to be any cuts in Medicare or Social Security. So this is the House's version. The Senate has a different version. There's still a long way to go to get actual legislation that President Trump might be able to sign. And it's still not clear whether Republicans in the House and the Senate will agree on what those spending cuts should be. So that's going to be the drama on Capitol Hill for the rest of 2025.
And now, that's the only part of that we need to hear, okay? I want to reiterate to everybody what that man just said. So you have people online. Shout out to you, D Major. Thank you for that. Black folks do rely on some programs, though. I'm just saying. Absolutely, they do. I'm not saying they don't. You're right, and we'll get there, right? They do. But we're about to go down the rabbit hole now, but we're going to go down there slowly, okay? So walk with me with this, and I'll explain to you, because it's not like Black folks will not be affected by these programs. Absolutely. But the first thing I want to say that I want y'all to keep into perspective, there are people all online promoting fear mongering, and it's not just people online, it is also people on the news, okay? If you watch Fox, they're for Trump. If you watch MSNBC, CNN, they're going to tell you the opposite and play the fear mongering and go against everything Trump says. So it's whether it's the news or it's people online, people keep telling you that they have cut these programs. I just want to tell you, they've actually not cut anything yet at this point, and it still has to go through a lot more processes. So y'all got to learn to understand. This is the thing. A lot of people don't study how the government works. And so when you heard that they passed a budget is just a representation. That budget, if you read it, and you can read all of these things, it does not say the word Medicaid, food stamps, or none of those things inside of it. If you listen to the man on the news, he just said that those are the budgets that spend the most money. So in order to make up for this money, you are going to have to take money from those programs. That's what he said. Nobody wrote that we're definitely taking money from here or from there, right? He says that those are the ones that make up the most money. So how can you fill this deficit? How can you give these cuts to this amount without having to cut some of those things? So this is their observation from looking at what they spend. But one thing that people have not also considered is that while they are talking about those are the plans that have the most money put into them, they're not also talking about all of the things that are being cut through those that is waste in the government, that they're actually going to be finding more money, that when they get rid of that shit, there will actually be more money to be able to take care of some of these things, which means all of them don't necessarily have to come from these programs. That's the first thing, okay? So I just want everybody to be clear about that It has not been voted on, and there has not been any bill to pass that states they're going to take money out of food stamps, kids' lunches, or Medicaid. That has not happened at this point, okay? So I just want y'all to know that we're not there. Now, I'm not going to tell you that they're not going to eventually pass these things, but if they do, it will be outlined in how much they're going to cut, how they're going to cut those things based on the money that they have to put out. Now, also, for example, there is a group that gets money. There's a oversight committee, right? Here we go with the oversight. So there's an oversight that oversees money that goes to farmers. Okay? Farmers produce some of the food that go to school lunches. So some of their rationale is, well, if you're going to cut some of the money from this oversight group and they fund farmers and farmers fund the school, kids ain't going to get no free lunch. So I just want you to understand that that's how they make this jump from one thing to another. It's not necessarily that the facts lay out and say that's what they're doing, if that makes sense to y'all, okay? If it don't, make a note of it. You can come up here and you can tell me why it don't make no sense, okay? But that's one thing that I want to say. Shout out to Chad. Chad says, I have been a bouncer for over 20 years. When I worked at a predominantly Mexican bar in Brooklyn, I have never been called the N-word more. You're absolutely right about that. Let me tell you something. I've grown up in a lot of different places. I've been around this country a lot. I have a brother who is and sister who is half Mexican, and you ain't lying, right? I know personally how those people are, and they get to talk in Spanish, and they'll be talking about you, calling you the N-word in Spanish, calling you all kind of names. And the funny part is when you've learned enough Spanish that you know what they're saying to you, and then you let them know back in Spanish, I heard what the hell you said, then they be looking dumb. They are. I agree with you on that, you know. People act like they're not, but I want y'all to remember what Chad is saying. Y'all out here right now fighting for these people that he talking about right now. That's your DEI, baby. They number 2 on the list, right under the white ladies. And I'm sure they use that N-word a whole lot too, okay? So understand this about the bill, though. So everybody's up in a roar, and it doesn't actually say that. They're making connections, like literally on the news, that's what they said. Well, they're going to be, how many of you watched the budget hearing? I watched it. It was like 3.5 hours. I did. I put on some headphones. I made some coffee a couple times. You know what I'm saying? I vacuumed, I folded some clothes. I listened to the whole damn thing. I did. Okay. And they went back and forth, and the Democrats kept saying, well, you know, y'all going to cut these things because these are in this program. One of them literally said, you're cutting the funds from this program, and this program oversees the farmers. The farmers help to produce food for the public schools. Now, let me tell you something. They do not produce all the food for the public schools. Okay. So that's the first level of this rabbit hole. I want y'all to see that. Is that this has not been, a bill has not been passed that actually states that. So when people are saying that Medicaid is going to be cut and all of that, that actually has yet to be seen. I want to reiterate one more time before we move on to the next point of this, is that when they say in order to cut those budgets and to have the budget where it is and to bring down the deficit, that they would have to take money. This is what they're saying, is that, well, there's no way they could do that without taking money from Medicaid and all of these places. But what I've not heard any of them mention is all of the wasteful spending that DOJ is finding that they actually will be able to put back into the pot when they get rid of all that wasteful spending. So that will actually take up some of that. Does that make sense to everybody? They don't give you the full picture. Now, let's go into the next point of this. When they do start to cut these programs, because I do believe that at some extent they are going to cut these programs. Okay? But when they cut these programs, let's be clear. These programs are going to be cut based on qualifications. It's not like they're going to say everybody across the board that was getting $300 in food stamps now, you're only going to get $200 now, right? That's not what's going to happen. What they're going to do is they are going to change the qualifications, which I don't have a problem with. So what that means is right now in a lot of states, just about every state, you can go fill out for Medicaid and get free healthcare. Do you know that? You do not have to have a job. You don't have to prove that you're working. You could be sitting at home all day playing video games and be 27 years old, sitting on the couch, not doing a motherfucking thing. And you can fill out for Medicaid and you don't have to do nothing to get Medicaid. So what's going to happen is people who are able to go out and work, they're going to require you to work to get Medicaid. They're going to require you to get off Medicaid if you are an able-bodied person that can go get a job. This is what's going to happen. They're not going to turn around and cut off a mother with children who are at home. They got newborn kids and her kids is a certain age, or a person who actually has disabilities. They're not going to cut those people off. They're going to look at the requirements and they're going to start just like those. They're going to start to cut out people that are having them wastefully spent. When we talk about food stamps, how many of you heard that in the program of food stamps that they're going to have different regulations? Now, maybe some of y'all on here, you can attest to this if you have been where I have been, but they claim that they're going to start making you work for food stamps. So if you're an able-bodied person, you can't just fill out for food stamps and sit at home and get your food stamps. You have to, one, and I don't think this is a bad idea, you can get food stamps for 3 months, they're saying. In some states, they're already starting to do this. It ain't even a federal thing. The states are starting to do it. You can get food stamps for 3 months, and after that, they're going to cut you off unless you do one or two things. You go get a job, and if you don't go get a job, you can volunteer somewhere and you can spend 20 hours giving your resources to an organization that you choose or a list that they have of organizations. So you just can earn this food, okay, that you're getting from these food stamps. Another thing is they will actually give you job training. If you don't go out to get a job or you don't want to do the volunteering, you can show up at the welfare office. They have a building, and this has been going on for forever. So let's be clear. This is not new. They've been doing this in a lot of states already. I ain't got food stamps and umpteen buck too. But the last time I did, this was many years ago, I had to get my ass up, and they either make you sit in a room, they make you get job training, they give you skills to write resumes, they even will give you clothes for your job interview. They will give you a voucher to go get money so you can get the right shoes to look good for your goddamn interview. Tell them I'm not lying. There's people in the chat that will tell you that they've always had them programs. And so you can come in here, you can learn how to get a job, you can learn how to write a resume. They won't even pay for you to go to school and get a trade or a skill. Look, if you go into the welfare office and you tell them motherfuckers you want to go and be a CNA, that program is about 8 weeks. They will pay for you to be a CNA. The bottom line is these programs have existed. They're just going to make it federal so that everybody has to do it. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Also do not disagree with them telling you that you can't live in housing or be on Section 8 longer than 2 years. Do you know how many people need to be in Section 8 or want to get that help or housing? But because there's people that go into Section 8 and live on that shit all their fucking life, you never leave. You never leave. Like in those 2 years, go get a trade, go get a degree, go do something with your life. That's always kind of been the case in a lot of places. I don't disagree with that. Maybe some of y'all do, and you could click the link and come up here and tell me why you disagree with it. I don't disagree with that. That is wasteful spending. Matter of fact, we said we wanted the immigrants gone. Yes, they were taking all of our jobs. Yes. So now that they gone, go get a motherfucking job. Go get a job. Because just like those that talk about wasteful spending, you are wasting our tax dollars if you want to sit on your ass and never do nothing with your life. Now, in these programs, if you have children that are under 2 years old, they actually put a freeze on anything. So if your children are under 2 years old, you can stay home and get Medicaid. You do not have to go get a job. So they consider those things. It's not like this is finna affect the mothers with the children. Now, if your kids are grown or they're teenagers or they're able-bodied and they are going to school every day and you've been on Section 8 for 6 years and all your kids go off to school every day, ma'am, while your children are at school, you need to get your ass up and you need to go get some schooling or some training because welfare will pay for it. You need to get a motherfucking job and you need to move on because somebody else need to come into this Section 8 housing that you've had all your damn life so that you don't live all your life there. You know, I have a friend. She ain't my friend no more, but she had daughters and her daughter, she had 2 daughters. They were getting older. Her last daughter turned 18. And so because her daughter was 18, she wasn't going to be able to stay in her housing apartment anymore. Do you know this old ass heifer after you done had all these kids, you about to be 40 years old. She went and had another baby. Like now that's some bullshit. You went and had another baby. Now, first of all, she shouldn't have been able to stay in housing for 18 whole years. Why in 18 years she didn't go get no job, no education, no schooling, no nothing to take her ass on down the yellow brick road and find a motherfucking life? Why she didn't do that? I agree. You shouldn't be able to do that. So these programs are not just going to cut your shit off. Now, the only thing that I kind of have a problem with, but I don't, because when we go down the next layer of the rabbit hole, you're going to understand why I don't have a problem with none of it. Okay? It's Medicaid. Because even if you work a job, I think that the government should do something about the medical system, because Medicaid will pay for all of your stuff. You don't have no co-pays or nothing like that, right? And when you get a job, you have to pay a bunch of money. Like, let me tell you right now, like, it is $1,300 a month being paid for 2 adults and a child right now in my household to have medical and dental coverage. But then I go to the dentist, and under that coverage, I have a procedure where at the dentist, right, the procedure is like $500. They paid $60 and I paid the rest of it. But I'm paying $1,300 a month. I could have just kept my $1,300 this month, and then I could have paid out of pocket. I don't need to go back to the dentist again for 6 more months to get a goddamn cleaning. So at the end of the day, if I don't need to go back to the dentist again for 6 months, why am I giving you all this money when I look at my out-of-pocket costs? So I pay all of this, and the insurance companies still don't fucking cover me? I'm lying to get some Medicaid too, goddamn. The medical system is fucked up. So the government should do something about that, right? So let's be clear about that. I think that even when you do go out and get a job, and there are many jobs that will not give you Medicaid, but let's be clear. If you're working and the program sees you have a job, you're at McDonald's or something, you're at a job that doesn't offer benefits, then you will still be eligible for Medicaid. You might have a copay on your prescription, which might be $3 or $4. It ain't never much when you on Medicaid, but you got to be doing something. But it does not always benefit a motherfucker, because how many of y'all are in this bracket? It's called, I call it, you're not poor enough to get no help, but you don't make enough money to make it. It's like you can't get Medicaid no more. Your job be killing you. You can't afford the goddamn health care. So now you can't get no health care either way it go. You're not poor enough to get no help, but you're not rich enough to live comfortably. That's called the middle class, and that should be fucked up for a lot of us. So I think they should do something about that. But let's go down the next layer of this rabbit hole, because they're absolutely going to do something about all of this. So none of these programs will matter. How many of you are worried about them kids eating school lunches? I'm not worried about no kids eating school lunches, because your kids is not going to be at school in a minute. Shout out to Chad. Chad says Clinton did this in the 90s working for food stamps. Thank you, Chad. He did, because this is what I'm telling you. I haven't been on food stamps in a long time. And when I was, which yes, I had a son in 95. So yep, it was in the 90s. Absolutely. And when I was on the program, I went to school. I got my financial aid. They helped me with that. So they didn't pay for my school. But if I wasn't going for some with financial aid, they would have paid for me to take a trade or something like that. They paid for his daycare. But I had to go and do like a work program and get a resume. I had to do one or the other. So I said, fuck that, I'm going to school to get a degree. I don't want a regular ass job. I'm gonna go get a degree then. And I could go to school every day, and they paid for his daycare, and they gave me my money, and they gave me all of my stuff that I needed, my food stamps and shit and everything, because I was doing something. And when he was first born, they let me stay home until he was of a certain age. They didn't make me put him in daycare right away. But you're right. You said that he did that. And these programs have been around, and some of them still exist in these states. So this is not new. So do not let the news make you feel like Trump taking away everybody's shit. No, and I'm going to remind y'all again, we wanted the immigrants gone. So they gone. The jobs are there. Go get a damn job, right? Don't be complaining about our unemployment rates. So if there are jobs available now, go work them. What was you waiting for? I'm just saying. Shout out to you, Faith. Faith says that's the way it should have been in the first place. And help, not a man, probably like a handout is what you're gonna say. But I think that is true. I think people need to help up sometimes in life, but it should not be a handout to where something you stay on for the rest of your life. As somebody who pays taxes, I'm not okay with them taking money to take care of these immigrants that ain't doing nothing. I'm also not okay with them taking the money and giving it to Americans who just gonna live off the shit, and they're not gonna do anything to get on their own 2 feet. I have a problem with that too as a taxpayer. So let's be clear about that. Now let's go down this part of the rabbit hole that nobody seems to see. While y'all crying about all of these programs, none of these programs are going to exist anymore. How many of you have you been online? Have you noticed that let's just cover the Medicaid thing, okay? How many of you have realized that since we were in the pandemic, we have what's called telehealth? And for somebody who is self-employed, works for themselves and own businesses, I don't necessarily do healthcare all the time. There's been times in my life where I haven't had healthcare, right? And you could get on telehealth for things. Now, of course, these are for things that you will run to the doctor on a regular basis. It's simple shit. Like you ain't getting on telehealth if you got cancer. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. But if something like that was to happen, you could probably apply for Medicaid. Do y'all get what I'm saying? But it's not expensive. You pay like $25 and the doctor will come on there and then they'll write your script. You could be like, I got a toothache. And they'll be like, okay, I'm going to write you a script. If you got a rash, they'll be like, send me a picture. They'll talk to you on the video if you need to. And they will send you a prescription to your nearest pharmacy. If you need to take lab tests because they know that it's something they need to be sure of, they don't want to just give you medicine and they're not sure, they will actually write you, they will forward information to the nearest lab by your house, and you go to the lab, let them take your blood, they'll send the results back, and then the doctor will put in your script. And when you go to the lab, it ain't shit but like $50 to get your blood drawn. I want you to understand, like, why is this so affordable? But if I had a primary care physician, I have United Health, let's say, for a insurance company, for me to go get all that done, they're gonna give me a bill of like $200 and something dollars, when for less than $100, I talked to the doctor, I got blood tests, and I got a prescription. And they give you like a prescription discount card where the prescription might have been $60, but the shit was $7.99. Like, has anybody noticed that? Has anybody else noticed how right now online, if you don't know this, I just ordered like 3 of them. But there's this company, there's a lot of companies online right now, and all of these companies are giving you medication kits. Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen that? Insurance damn sure is a scam. I just told everybody, y'all know if you see, I told them, I said, look, you been paying all this money for your car insurance. You just crash that motherfucker before it's all said and done so you can get a check or something. You done paid for 5 cars all your life. All that goddamn money you get insurance company. But it's companies, I don't know if you guys have seen them. They're all over the place, right? And so you go online, you have to answer like a medical thing, like if you have any medical issues or things like that. But you can buy what's called a basic medicine pack. So they have different ones. So now they have a pack that will take, you can get it and they send it to your house. And in 6 months, you can even hit them up for a refill if you use one of them. And inside of these kits, you pay like $200. And for that $200, you get a bottle of antibiotics. You get a bottle of shit to help you deal with if you have a strep throat. They give you a bottle of medicines if you get a STD. They give you shit for BV for women. They give you shit for motherfucking yeast infections. They give you stuff for if you have the flu. They give you a Z-Pack if you get sick. They give you all kinds of shit. They give you stuff for if you have tooth problems. They give you, and it's a whole thing of medicine. For all of the basic shit that can happen to you, they're sending it to your home, telling you to self-diagnose your motherfucking self. Yes, I'm dead serious, D Major. When my kids come in, I'm going to show them to you. Now, I got them because I'm in the survival mind. And my thing is, I tell you all the time, when you build up your survival supplies, there may not be a time when you can always go to the hospital and do these things. But trust me, there might be a time, whether it's survival or not, you ain't going to go to no hospitals. They're not going to exist, not like they do today, right? And so I'm always big on that. And so I've always saved medication. Like, you know, if I got ibuprofen, pain reliever, I'm not a big medicine person. So if I've ever had medicine and I don't use it all, pain reliever, antibiotics, whatever, I'll keep them. Because medicine can get a little bit non-potent, but medicine never gets to the point where it does not work at all, okay? So I've always kept it. And then when I saw you could order all of this stuff online, they have like 3 different packs for different kind of stuff that you would need. But it's like a difference of like 20 different medications that you go to your doctor on a regular basis. And unless you have some serious type of illness, these medications are stuff that doctors prescribe to you all the time for shit. And you can buy them. And I bought 3 packs of them motherfuckers, so that I can have the medication that I need in my house just for survival purposes. I don't even plan on using them shits because half the time I don't do medication anyway. I don't go to the doctor unless something wrong with me. I listen to my body. And when I go, medication is always the last resort for me. I don't even fucking take Tylenol. I'm one of them kind of people. I don't know. I've had a bunch of kids. Like, my pain tolerance is high. My second C-section, I literally could have been a motherfucker in like a a scary movie and a serial killer just grabbed me and cut me open on the table trying to take my organs out, because I felt my second C-section. I laid on that table, the anesthesia was not working for me, and I felt the doctor cut me open. I felt him move my insides around. I felt him pull my son out, and I felt him stitch me up. That was my sign to say, you don't need no more motherfucking kids. So I've literally laid on the table. I know what it's like to be cut open while you're awake. I felt every moment of it. So for me, toothaches don't bother me. I ain't had a toothache in a minute. I don't get headaches. Pain doesn't bother me, and I don't get pain like that, right? So again, I'm not a medicine person, but if you need it, you need it for survival or whatever. You never know what might happen to people, and you don't have the ability to go to the hospital. But I want y'all to think about it. Let's go back to what I was saying. You got telehealth. You got medication that you can get at the drop of a hat. It's not expensive, y'all. It seems like to me they're preparing society to be met with medical help for basic needs in a different way. Pay attention. Okay? So that's one thing I've noticed, is that healthcare and medication and the way you receive it is becoming cheaper, and it's becoming more convenient to do it from your home. Now, how many of you remember all of the times we talked about New World Order and what that consists of? So now let's go to the school lunches. Are you really worried about the school lunches? You shouldn't be, because your children will not be in school at some point. Mark my words on all this. You know, people say this didn't age well. What I'm telling you is going to age very well. Because we're past the beginning stages of the stuff that I've been talking about. A lot of this shit is already here. Now, let me ask y'all something. Before the pandemic, when did you ever see our school systems close schools down left and right and just shut the school down because kids is getting sick? When did you ever see that happen? Have you ever seen that happen before the pandemic? No. I've never in my life seen them say a lot of kids is getting sick. I remember growing up and going to school, and there'd be a lot of kids absent, and they'll just be like, oh, well, it's a lot of kids catching the flu. Everybody's sick. It's sick season. It's fine. Do you know, are y'all paying attention? Because I don't send my kids to public school. So, but even I know this. Y'all know they talking about this bird flu that's going around, and they claim it's mutated. Maybe we'll talk about that on Saturday with our panel. We'll talk about a couple of things, and I'll play a video. But the news has literally said that it is mutated and it can jump from person to person now. So they're telling you that bird flu has a very high rate, and it actually has a high rate of mortality, more than even COVID. This is what they're saying now, okay? So I don't know if you guys know, but they've been shutting down schools in areas due to the bird flu. Do y'all know that, or y'all don't know that? Go look it up in the news. Go look it up. They've been closing schools because of it. So literally they've been sending kids home. But I told you that the pandemic was the tester. Remember? So they sent your kids home, right? How many of y'all remember that even after it was over and kids could go back to school? What did I tell you? They were sending parents in the mail. You might have got one. I got one in my jurisdiction. They kept sending them in the mail. When kids were able to go back to school, they started sending out these cards to families asking you, did you want your child to come back to public school, even though everything was fine? Or did you want your kid to do remote schooling? Did y'all get that? In my area, they were just sending it out everywhere on these little pamphlets. My kids don't go to public school, but they were saying, now if the pandemic is over, why are you asking parents if they want their kids to do remote schooling? So I don't know if y'all know this, but public school now has an option called remote schooling in a lot of areas. So you can sign your child up for public school. They will give your child a laptop. Your child can go to school from home. That is an option, and it's considered a public school option. So if that was just a thing for the pandemic, why are we doing this like it's the norm? I told you it was all a tester. When the pandemic was going on, did you leave your house to go to the doctor for anything unless it was absolutely necessary? No, you didn't. You didn't. You, matter of fact, said, I'm staying away from the hospital because they told you hospitals were packed with all kinds of people. And now how many of y'all rolled past the hospital in your city and it wasn't one motherfucker in the emergency room when you looked through the window? Tell the truth and shame the devil. How many of y'all was nurses and can tell the truth that in them hospitals, when the news was telling y'all that the emergency room was packed, there were times they were saying that and it was nobody in the waiting room at all. But because they put that fear mongering into you, how many of you said, I'm not going to the hospital unless something is really wrong with me. So you stayed at home, and what happened? You began using telehealth. It was a test run for everything, y'all. So you started using telehealth. That started during the pandemic. So now they're giving you basic medication at home. People are still using telehealth like never before. So they already primed you for that. So for your basic medical needs, they've gotten us used to not even going to the doctor office anymore because they're going to do away with all of that. So you don't have to worry about Medicaid. You don't have to, because you're not going to be going out to the doctor unless it's something you really need to go do. And when you do go to the doctor at some point, you probably will not be faced with a human being. You'll probably be talking to AI. I'm not going to show you guys tonight, but I have a video of the newest AI robot that actually has all of the bones that are in the human body. And the reason they created it that way is so that it could move just like a human being. It does not move robotically anymore. It moves and flows just like a human because it created it and it put every single bone in it, from the fingers to everything else. So it has a skeleton inside so that it will move just like a human being. There will come a time, mark my words, listen to me now, believe me later on. There's going to be a time where you're going to interact with so many humanoid robots that the skin they have on, their gestures, the way they move, even their voices, we'll be able to tell at some point. But at some point, they're going to get so good. It's like with the transgenders. Sometimes you're in a room full of beautiful women, and the most beautiful one is a motherfucking man. And it's hard to tell. Robots are going to get to that point. So when you do need to go out to the doctor, let me tell you something else that they're doing. I don't know if you guys know this. They said that there is a new technology that is here, not coming, it's here, where you can swallow a pill. Remember when we talked about nanodust? Well, they're going to use that. You swallow this pill, and instead of having to go through all of these machines at the hospital and needing CAT scans and everything else, this pill is going to go in your body and read your blood flow, see if it's clogged. It's going to look at all your organs and everything else. It's going to literally go inside of you and read what's wrong with you. And then I'm sure the AI system is then going to come up with some type of a medical plan for what's wrong with you. And then it's going to write you some scripts, and then your ass is going to go and fill the scripts or do whatever it tells you to do. You're not going to need the medical care system in the way that you see the medical care system today. It is getting ready to drastically change. This is why the government doesn't care. They all know this shit, but they're playing this game to fearmonger you. Remember the golden rule. They must make you think that the change that they give is your idea. So they're going to fear you into some shit. So you think that when you say do this or do that, you think it's your idea. They told you you needed to defund the police. They had you yell that shit so much, you thought it was your idea. No, baby, it was their idea. So they could get rid of the police because they have a whole new AI police force waiting for your ass. How many of you have already seen the police drones in your community? They fly around, they got red and blue lights on them, they watch your ass, and there are going to be, just like in the fast food restaurants, there's going to be a few police officers, but you won't need a whole staff. Because the bots are going to wean out what's really a threat, what isn't a threat. You know that doggy they made that was a robot dog, and everybody was like, how that's a police officer? It looked cute. That motherfucker got the ability to shoot your ass. Do you know it's a weapon on that dog? And the precision is accurate than a motherfucker. Y'all told me I was full of shit when I brought up 5G. Y'all ready for this rabbit hole tonight? Because I don't give a fuck about none of that shit they talking about, because it don't really matter in the bigger picture of what's going on. When I talked to y'all about 5G, everybody was like, no, that's just a frequency for you to talk on your phones better. Shut your dumb ass up. Everybody, when COVID was going on, how many of y'all realized, just like I realized, I would go outside? Remember they told you to go in your house? How many of you know that they were outside putting up 5G towers? Do y'all know that? Where I was, they were not only putting up 5G towers, they was putting them shits up like Christmas trees. How many of y'all know that? So what that means is they had a wooden pole, right? It wasn't some thing that says, look at this new tower. It doesn't look electrical. They had a wooden pole and they were literally putting branches on that motherfucker like when you get a Christmas tree and they make it look like it's a tree. It's a 5G tower and it's a fucking tree. You would never know driving past it is 5G. Go and Google what 5G does to you if you are near 5G. The symptoms that you get from being close to 5G is the same symptoms that they told you was COVID. Respiratory problems, headaches. Go look at the symptoms. What you don't understand is that the government has weapons when it comes to radio waves and microwave frequencies. These weapons exist. I'm gonna keep telling y'all, go to DARPA website, which is the weapons website for the government. So what's gonna happen is they don't need police. They're gonna move a whole crowd of people if you out there protesting without one police. They're gonna have their AI bots out there. They're gonna have their drones flying over you. Welcome to the future, baby. All of the movies you was watching, The Fifth Element, that's where we headed. That was a primer for your ass. So they're going to have all them drones out there and they're going to use their frequency, their 5Gs, their microwave weapons to make your ass move back, to hold your ass like a herd of sheep. They don't need the police no more. You want to know what else? I told you they got your kids prepared. You don't have to worry about school lunch. Your children are going to be taught at home at some point because what's going to happen is your children are going to be taught by AI systems, right? They allow these schools to fail. So even though Trump is bringing out the Department of Education, and I told everybody, oh, well, why do you care about the Department of Education? Everybody else can feel like us. They're not doing anything. He's giving you free choice. He's giving you homeschooling for your kids if you want to do that. Well, what's going to happen is they are going to give each one of your children AI programs. Trust me when I hear you. When you hear me, these children in AI is going to be a better teacher to your children than any human teacher can be. And let me tell you why. Because each child will actually have an individual program based on their knowledge. That AI is going to test your child. It could be a picture of a teacher on the screen. Hey, Thomas, I'm your new teacher, Miss Ratkins. And Miss Ratkins is going to show up every day and she's going to look like a real person on that computer. Remember that remote schooling? Because why, if COVID is over, would you even leave that as an option for public schools? Of course, Trump is giving you money to homeschool your kids or take them home. That's that school choice. Because at some point, you're not going to have no choice because all the schools are going to be closed because we say the teachers are inadequate, right? Remember, it's going to be your idea. Close these schools down because schools are fucked up. So why do we need them anyway? You're going to scream because they're going to promote it in our minds and we're going to scream, close these schools down. And your kid's going to be at home. And that AI program is going to read all of your kids' answers, all of your kids' responses. And in a matter of seconds, AI is going to read where your kid is failing. This kid can't read too well. This kid don't know his multiplications, but he's strong on his addition and his subtraction. This child doesn't understand when it comes to proper grammar. And then that AI program in a matter of seconds is going to put together a curriculum just for your child. So when AI starts to teach your children, the programs might start out in the school. But the question will be, why do we need buildings and why do we need teachers if these programs can teach the kids on their own? We already did it during the pandemic. Kids already have an option to go to public school, but at home it's called remote public school. Why don't we just send them home and give everybody their own laptop and they can have their own AI teacher and the kids will learn better? Why do we need to pay for school? Why do we need to pay for these teachers? Why do we need to pay for these buildings? We can save money that way. And some of y'all finna say, well, how the fuck do your kids stay home if you got to go to work? To each his own. You don't have to go to work anymore, baby. You don't. You don't. And they tested that during the pandemic too. Didn't you go in your house? Didn't you go in your house for a check? They put everybody in jail and gave you a commissary check. They put money on your books and they told you to go in your house and don't come out. Shout out to you. Thank you for the super chat. China is using drones for population control. Absolutely. Like these things are being used in other places. So you already see it being used. It's not too far-fetched to know that it's going to come here next. And for as much as America talks shit about China, like you do know that China owns all kind of land right here in this country. Like if you hate China so much, why China owns so much of the land in America? Things make you go, I don't know. You tell me, somebody. Now, they gave you money to go in your house, right? And not only did they give you money to go in your house, they gave you more money than you had before you went in your house. Tell me where I'm wrong. Them stimulus checks you was getting every month, them unemployment checks you was getting every week. The money that you were getting was more than you made when you went out to work. You didn't have to do anything, and you made more money than you had ever made in your whole life. How many of y'all felt like that? And I'm not talking about PPP loans. I'm talking about just the stimulus checks they was giving you every month. I'm talking about for people who were working and you could get unemployment, or if you was an independent contractor and Trump was like, oh, well, you can file for unemployment too. We've never heard of that. Independent contractors, you can file for it too. This was a prime effect of why. Let me tell you something. When COVID went on, this is why people's YouTube channels was blowing up. This is why when you see people and their views have gone down a lot, when you see that there were people who were teaching classes and courses, people who were making all this money, people who started a business and they said, oh my God, I've made it because I blew up. No, baby. During the pandemic, people had extra money and they had nothing but time on their hands, and people were in the house. They had nothing else to do. So people were watching TV and, well, YouTube, that's the new TV, left and right. People were spending money on classes and courses because they didn't even care if you knew what the fuck you were talking about or not. They just wanted to be in the presence of other people. That was their way to interact. People were doing all of these different social things online because it's how they had some entertainment. It's how they interacted with people. They had all this extra money. They had rent moratoriums where you didn't have to pay your goddamn rent. They had all this extra money. So they was buying shit. They didn't give a fuck if it was worth it, if it was good, if it worked, if it didn't. Pandemic was over. And the test of that was, who business is still standing the test of time now? Whose YouTube channels is still standing the test of time now? That shows you in that time who genuinely had a good business that they can still keep going, who genuinely is still able to rock their channel the way that they're able to do so. A lot of that changed for people as soon as people had to go back to work. Now people is busy, people working again, so they mind where they spend their money because they're working for it. But I want you to know that test was for universal income. How many of y'all remember? If you think I'm lying, go look the shit up. How many of you remember that after COVID, what did they have? They had these pilot programs in all of these cities. You could go read it in the news. It was in all the newspapers. And all these different cities, they had pilot programs for what they called basic income or universal income. Somebody said, Elon literally said, we'll have a universal basic income. He said, we'll have a high. And I said this shit long before Elon, but of course people gonna say Elon said it. So I'm glad y'all listen to Elon, because when niggas try to tell people stuff, nobody ever wants to listen. I was telling people this back in the pandemic. I was actually getting suspended off YouTube, and it's the reason I'm not monetized. No, I was not monetized for these 3 years, and I just recently got monetized, is because I was telling people shit like that. And they would say I was giving misinformation. Where my day ones at? We've been talking about this shit long before it got here. Long before Elon and anybody said it. I told you this is where we was going, y'all. This is the new world order. Shout out to you again for the super chat. You said also the deferred monthly payments on mortgages and monthly car payments. Absolutely. That's what made people be racking in the money, and they was spending on all kinds of shit. You have more money than you ever had in your life. But they did pilot programs. Go look them up. So after COVID was over, they said, we're going to give people extra. They were giving an extra $1,000, $500. Some people were getting an extra $1,500 a month. Now, this was not based on your income. They just randomly picked people. It wasn't about if you were poor. It wasn't about if you were in lower class. It wasn't about none of that stuff. They were just doing a pilot program to give all these different people money to see if they gave them extra money, would the conditions of their life be different if they had extra money so they didn't have to stress about food. This was the reason they said, right? So we're going to see if this helps to, a person with their cost of living, and if it actually takes stress away from them, and if it helps them to live a better life. So none of these pilot programs were based on being low income. They were for everybody. You can go look this up. As soon as COVID was over, they did all of these pilot programs, okay? Well, when they test the program, they're seeing how something works. It means they plan on putting it in play. If all this AI is being created just on some logical shit, let's say this. If you're a major company, you know right now, Amazon, if you work at an Amazon warehouse, you can wrap it up, baby, because it's over for you. Amazon got all kind of robots. They on the way. They in the mail right now. They supposed to be delivered first thing Monday morning on my birthday. And everybody's losing their job by 12 o'clock on Monday. Okay. Now I'm joking for anybody who's like, is you serious? I'm serious, but I'm joking, but I'm serious. Go read the articles. Amazon actually during COVID got the ability and the okay to have airspace to be able to fly drones to deliver packages now. So you won't even be driving an Amazon truck. Drones going to deliver your packages. Drones are going to deliver your DoorDash. You're going to order some food and it's going to bring that food right to your front door. Mark my words. Mark my words. This is what's getting ready to happen. So if a major company can, when they had the strikes at the port, why were they striking at the port? They were striking at the port because they said they didn't want them to automate the port. Because if you automate the port, all these motherfuckers gonna lose their job. Yeah. Automation is where we're going. If you are a multi-million-dollar company, if you are a big company, you're not a small company. Watch what's going on. Who in their right mind that has a big company, if I can pay for a system and this system replaces my employees, and I can buy the system one time and I never have to pay this system. I don't have to give the system sick days. This system doesn't have deaths in the families. I don't have to give them vacation time. I never have to pay them again. Why wouldn't all companies implement automation? And when you talk about the small business owner, this is why you should get your ass in my classes. All the small business owners that are not multimillionaires, you will work online. That's where you're going to work. It's not a mistake that all of the malls are closing. All of the stores are closing. You think these multi-million-dollar companies is closing down because they can't cut it? No, baby. They are filing Chapter 11 bankruptcies so that they can pay a portion to the people they owe. They said, why the fuck we got this store? I don't need cashiers. I don't need none of that. All I need is a warehouse. All we need is some automation, and we can have people order shit online. I had a restaurant. I had a gang of employees. I have online businesses. You know how many employees I have right now? About 5 across all my businesses. I don't need a bunch of employees when you run business online. Your day-to-day side hustles is online. I'm going to give you this tidbit if you ain't been in my class. Let me throw you some game. How many of y'all have side hustles and you clean houses, you cut grass, you know what I'm saying? You do landscaping, you shovel people's snow. You know them little side hustles like that? You a handyman. You hang up pictures. You fix holes in the wall. You repair furniture. You fix the car and do automotive shit. You do catering at your house. You know them side hustles? You know how many websites there are online right now? And you can put that side hustle on a line in your neighborhood and you can put your shit up there and people go to search online for people who do landscaping, people who do home repair, people who paint houses. You don't have to have no fucking degree for none of this shit. And guess what? You put your shit up there and when a person goes to these websites, these people see you in their area and all the people in their area that service them for this thing. And then guess what? They call you up, they hit you up. You have reviews and everything. It don't cost you shit to put your shit on that page. And now instead of going door to door trying to get customers, you have all of these people in your area, millions of people who go on these websites. And if you put yourself on more than one, you can put yourself on 4 or 5. Guess what? Now you out here without no marketing and you don't put yourself in front of millions of people every fucking day. And guess what's going to happen? People going to call you. And after that, you're going to have regular customers. Do y'all know when I get my house clean, where my housekeeper come from? Freelancing sites. A young black man came and painted my whole house. It took him 3 days. When I first moved into the first spot I got here, landlord gave me the house as is. It was a piece of shit. He said he wasn't doing nothing to it. I wasn't living with them walls the way it was. I went on the on the freelancing site. I got me a young man that has a painting company. It's just a small business that he got. And guess what? He came over. He painted the whole house. Took him about 3 or 4 days, and he made a quick $4,000. When I'm looking for somebody to clean up my house, I go to freelancing sites. I'm looking for a private chef, I go to a freelancing site. I'm looking for a landscaper, I go to a freelancing site. So even from your daily hustle, your side hustles, even if you ain't got a full-blown motherfucking business, all of that is going to online. So the multi-million-dollar businesses are going to have automation. They're not going to need people. So how you going to have a job? All of the small businesses are going to do business online. Whether you do retail, you have a product, you have a service, you have a whatever, it's going to be online. Even if you go to the location where the job needs to be done, the transaction will start online. This is the new era of shit. All these businesses is closing down. The only thing that will be open is warehouses where robots work, fast food restaurants. Even in that, COVID got your ass already. How many of y'all even really go out to restaurants like that? Y'all gonna be having DoorDash delivering your shit with a drone. This is the new world that we are going into. So this is the thing. Can we all agree that if companies can purchase these things and millions and millions and millions of people will be laid off, my question to you is, what does that mean for the people that are working? What does that mean for you? What do you do? Where do you find a job if there are no jobs? Think about that. So again, as Jessica Parker said, universal income. COVID was the test run. Will millions and millions of Americans go in their home if we give them an allowance? And the answer is yes, you will. Now, some of you are going to say, what's wrong with that? And I'm going to tell you, nothing and a whole lot. They're going to give you universal income, and you notice that Trump is ushering in what? Cryptocurrency? You're going to have a digital wallet. Let me tell you something else they did during COVID. Pay attention. We deep in this rabbit hole now. When you will go to the store during the pandemic, didn't they tell you you had to have exact change because they couldn't give you change back? Didn't they tell you that? Now, the first thing I would say to you is, what happened to all the change? Isn't it in circulation? Like, don't we use the same change over and over again? So because COVID came, what happened to the change? There's no change. The change got sick too. Or was it them priming you and preparing you for a cashless society? So you will go and pull up at a place and you wanted to buy something for $5.59, but you only had a $20 bill. Now, either you had to let them keep that whole $20 bill, or you couldn't buy your product. Well, you only gave them your $20 bill one time before you said, fuck this shit. So what did you start doing? You start pulling out your debit card every time you went somewhere. You just stopped having cash. Cashless society. And now not only do you swipe your card, what they got you doing now? We tap that bitch. Boop, boop, boop. They're getting you ready for the tapping. The tapping that's going to come with this. Y'all remember Goody Mob? You run your hand over the scanner. He ain't had no money. He ran his hand over the scanner and said he was broke. He said, no more fishing for your dish. And he put the paper back down because he couldn't pay for it. Y'all remember that? Goody Mob tried to tell us a long time ago. Lots of people tried to tell us a long time ago. He said, listen to me now, but leave me later on. So they're getting you primed and ready for the tapping. It started with your card. Next, it'll be something else. During COVID, the Pentagon, it's not a lie. You can go look it up. It was all in the news. They created a chip that you can put into a person. You can actually go online right now and purchase it yourself if you want it. And it's in a syringe and you can put the chip in your hand. But before you do that, there's a way to program it with all of your information, all of your, your debit cards, all of that kind of stuff. You can purchase those right now. This is not a lie. And you can use them yourself. But the Pentagon created a chip during COVID. Go look it up. It was all over the news, but we wasn't paying attention. So you're going to get cryptocurrency and you're going to be given a crypto wallet. And that's where you're going to receive your universal high income, because they got to do something for you because you won't have a job. Like Tommy from the 5th floor, you're not going to have no job. But this is the problem without having a job. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Says China has implemented a cashless society in cities. Absolutely. But you know what comes along with those cashless societies that are a problem? Y'all want to go to another level of this rabbit hole? The next problem with that cashless society is this. How many of you remember or know this, that in China, because they implement this cashless society, They also, because the government gives you your wallet, you know that if you do certain things against their rules, that they can deduct from your wallet. They can lock you out of being able to use it and purchase certain things. Do y'all know that too? They call it a social credit score. Now, for those of you that say that wouldn't happen here in America, okay. How many of you were watching me back when we talked about PayPal? Y'all remember when Kanye was losing his mind? At the same time, they tried to slip this in. Do you remember that PayPal had a clause updated in their system that said, if you receive money on a platform or through some type of source that you get paid through PayPal, and we feel that your speech is hateful, racist, or misinformation. Remember PayPal did that shit? Y'all remember? I remember I did that video and they took my shit down the next day. I wasn't even cussing in there. We was talking about PayPal, Kanye, and the New World Order, and they took that shit down. And they said I can have that shit up. Okay, so but check that out, right? So PayPal said that if you did any of those things and you received funds from a platform that did these certain things, gave misinformation, had racist or hateful speech, and so let's say you was receiving your payments through PayPal on a website, they think your website or your podcast or whatever, and you're using PayPal for these transactions. They said that if they think so, they deem it that they can actually fine you and take $2,500 out of your PayPal account. Do y'all remember that? And then a bunch of people was like, what the hell? And they made an uproar about it. And what did PayPal come forward and say? PayPal said this was a mistake. They don't know how it got into the paperwork. It wasn't supposed to be there, that was actually wrong. But I need y'all to just walk with me for 2 seconds here. Who the fuck sat down at PayPal and even thought to write that shit out? Like, in order for it to accidentally get into the new terms and agreements means somebody actually had to write it. Yes. Why is something like that even being written to where it could accidentally be put in there? I call that a primer. They put it in, they wanted to see your reaction. Everybody was like, what the hell? They took it right back out and said it was a mistake. This is one of them testing things where they're playing to see how you're going to react. Are you going to notice it? That wasn't the first company that did that. So when the person that talks about the social credit score, when you have a cashless society and the government gives you a universal income, it'll be the same thing. Like if you get Social Security, you get welfare. When you get your food stamps, we don't get food stamps anymore. What do you get it on? An EBT card, right? That's distributed to you by the government. They have access to that card. They can cut it off. They can shut it on. They can do whatever they want to do with it. Social Security payments now. They told everybody a little while back, you can't get your money sent to you in a check. Either we're going to deposit it into your bank account or either we're going to give you a debit card from the Social Security office. So if they give you cryptocurrency, they're going to, and a high universal income, they're going to give you your crypto wallet. And if you think that it's very far-fetched to say that based on societal standards and new norms, that if there are certain things that you do, that they will not lock your card and keep you from spending money, or that they won't deduct something from you for breaking a rule. Like, what if you run through a red light? Because we live in an open air prison. There are cameras everywhere watching every fucking thing you do. And this thing right here is the camera that's in your home that listens to everything you do. You went on Instagram and all of these apps, even YouTube, and we gave them permission for our photo album and for our microphones because you think that's so you can post. Well, it is. And so you could go live and you could use your microphone. Yeah. But if you read the fine print, they're asking for permission to have access to your microphone, which means they can listen into your house even when you're not using their service. You are being listened to all the fucking time, and they tell you it's for algorithm purposes. This is why you don't even have to be on your phone. Go talk to somebody about food you want to eat. Go talk to them about something you need. The next time you get on Google and you go to look for something, the next time you go to Instagram and you go scrolling and you wonder, you was just talking about buying a new watch. Why the fuck is a new watch coming up your feed when you didn't search for a new watch on Instagram? Because they listening to you. Even when you don't have your phone next to your ear. It could just be sitting next to you on the table. That phone know more about you than anybody else. It know when you go to sleep, it know when you pick it up, it know when you put it down, and hear your ass snoring. It knows your regular travel. It knows which route you take to go here, which route you take to go there. I want you to really think about how much your phone knows about you. They know all of that about you too. We live in an open air prison, baby, just like Gaza. But they've done it in such a way that you think you're really free. So when you run that red light, you don't think they won't just deduct that money from your digital wallet? You're breaking the rules of society. I know America's so free, you don't ever think we'll get there. Okay. So I'm going to drop the link in a minute. China monitors the citizens' social media. Absolutely, they do. Yeah, they do. Now, I know it looks like we're getting free or things seem great, but the truth of the matter is the reason why Trump is actually tearing down all of these systems and things is because in order to create the new, that's the key word, world order, you don't need these old systems anymore because that's not the way things work anymore. Things are getting ready to change drastically. They are already in the process of changing. And I will warn you all of this. If you think any of this is a good thing, it's not, because in order for there not to be human beings working, there is going to come, like the World Health Organization said, disease X. It's not a matter of, when, it's a matter of what, right? Because it is coming. They said there's no doubt in that. This is what the World Health Organization told you. When is it coming? It's just a matter of that. It ain't a matter of if it's going to happen, because it's going to happen. This is what the World Health Organization told you to your face. So the first phase, after getting a bunch of AIs and automation that will take your job, the next thing to do will be to decrease the population. Now, this might be a bit much for y'all, and if this is where people want to click off, fine. This is where people start to call me a conspiracy theory, but when you have a man named Bill Gates who has continued to say that vaccination is the answer to depopulation, when we heard Kamala stand over a podium in the past 4 years and say global warming and when we do depopulation, like, I'm not dumb. What does depopulation mean? Depopulation is a nice way of saying you're getting rid of some of the population. Please, somebody tell me what the fuck else does it mean? So the first phase of that is to depopulate some more. That's that disease X. After the population has been decreased, then there will be a matter of how people live between technology and human beings, and they will both be intertwined. Babies will be created in AI incubated fucking factories and automated wombs, and that's a fact too. There's already a company who's been working on this. I've showed it to my people. If you think I'm lying, go look it up. If you don't believe me, I don't really give a fuck at this point, because these things are too obvious in our face. But what's going to happen is, for those that are left, the universal income ain't gonna make you happy, because the true meaning of life is getting up outside and going and doing things with your life. Some people have jobs because they mean something to them. Some people were doctors every day, nurses every day, because that's what they enjoy doing, civil servants and all kind of stuff. I remember when COVID hit, I had a support group online. I had people who had been sober and hadn't drunk in 20 years. Being alone, because people don't know how to be alone, drove them to drinking again by simply just being locked in their house all day long. So what happens when what you go out and do every day, and I'm not talking about breaking your back, slaving, you may not like your job, but when all of those things get taken away from people, and then everything outside gets shut down, or every time you go somewhere, you're interacting with a computer and not a human being. Like, they fucking sell girlfriend robots. What kind of shit is that? That we lay down with robots and we don't know how to be with humans anymore? I want y'all to really think about that. So they're going to give you a big check, but it'll be, and that's if you're one of the ones that make it, but it will be at the expense of losing your humanity. So think about that. And then the last step in the New World Order is that once you depopulate, you must control the population. And the way that you control the population, we have already seen the implementation of this. Well, how do you do that? Well, if you want to change any society, the first thing you do is program the children. The older generation is going to die off. Children don't ask questions. You program them. A child's mind is moldable and malleable, and you can make a child become whatever you want them to be. I promise you, geniuses are not born. Baby, they are created. It's what you put in front of those children. This is why Obama came in, because I don't care what president it is, they all work for the same plan. This plan was planned before we knew who they were. Either they get out or they lay down. If Trump don't play the game, Trump will be out of here, just like on The Simpsons. They'll make it come true. So even though Trump seemed like he going against the grain, it's supposed to seem like that. Trump is preparing us for where we're supposed to go. That's what he's really doing. Obama brought in the final phase. And even though it looks like Trump is taking it away, Trump ain't going to keep it away. That's just a thing to make us feel like, okay, what he's doing is all right. But that LGBTQ gender shit, this is not the last you've heard of that. Because if you can get it into the minds of the children that there are all these different genders, that nobody's a boy, nobody is a girl, guess what happens? You give children hormone blockers. Do you know what that does? You know what hormones do, right? When a kid goes through puberty, their hormones is what gives a boy his puberty. He gets a deeper voice. He grows hair. He drops his testicles. He can actually produce sperm, which produces children, right? Well, if you take his puberty away from him, his hormones, as he's growing, he doesn't develop into a reproducing male. When a girl goes through puberty, which is based on her hormones, so if you give her a hormone blocker, she does not grow breasts that would develop milk. She does not grow her ovaries to where she can have a period or a menstruation. Then that means she can't give birth to a baby. And you know how I know this to be a fact? Because I have a daughter that has Turner syndrome. That funky bitch goddess masterpiece call us up talking about my kids. Some of my kids are developmentally delayed. Bitch, I don't have any kids that are as stupid as you. My 16-year-old son is 16, about to go to college at 16. He's smarter than you any day, you stupid bitch. But my daughter that has Turner syndrome, the only thing that's wrong with her is that when she was growing, when she was born, she's missing a chromosome. And that chromosome was her hormone that made her grow during puberty. If you block those hormones, what happens to them is the same thing that happens to my daughter. My daughter doesn't produce those hormones. So what that meant is that when a kid has a growth spurt and they get real tall, she didn't get real tall. So she's short. She's under 5 feet. Okay. And she never developed ovaries and things like that, nor menstruation. So my daughter cannot have children. That's what hormone blockers do to kids. So once you depopulate the population, now you must control the population. So if everybody's hormones is fucked up and you're blocking kids from producing and growing up the right way and they're mutilating their bodies, how do they have children? They go to the AI center and they take both of their DNA, whether it's 2 women or it's 2 men, and they take that DNA and they produce a cell, like they've been cloning animals and they've been cloning other humans, and they've admitted this. For somebody, I think this is a conspiracy theory. Like, you should check yourself, because at this point, cloning is a fact. We've had officials come forward on the news in other countries and tell you that they officially cloned their first baby. They officially cloned the first animal. They've been cloning things for a long time, right? So what they're going to do is take both of their DNA, whether they're male or female, and you're going to have to go to a facility that's going to clone a child and create you a baby. And when that artificial womb is done growing your artificial baby, you can come and pick your baby up. That's how you control the population. So that's the rabbit hole that I have for you guys tonight. So don't get distracted on the Medicaid's leaving. It might be. No school lunches, ain't gonna be no fucking school. So who cares? Even if Social Security go away, if everybody got a universal income and we all get a check, who the fuck needs Social Security? See, you don't know those things. You don't see the bigger picture. So you're allowing your emotions to be played. But remember, America has to play this game with you like the violin. They have to play this song. They have to make you go through the emotions. They have to trick you into believing that all the things that they implement are your idea, because this is how they make you believe that you have freedom. You have a say. and everything that happens. We did this because you told us to do this. You said it was a solution. They fearmonger you into taking the solution that they give you when they created the problem all along. The problem was just part of the scenario to get you to feel the way you feel in your fucking emotions, so you would agree to some shit without using logic for them to solve the problem that they caused. So now they can say, you agreed to this. We didn't force this on you. America's real free. The citizens wanted this. The people asked for this. And Trump is playing that game too. Because a lot of us is like, yeah, do this shit, do this shit. We all agree with it, right? But all it's doing is ushering in the new phase of things. But let me be clear. Trump didn't start this. Nor does it end with him. I don't give a fuck who's in the White House. They're all going to follow the new position, the new world order. There's no mishap that he's ushering in cryptocurrency. That's not a coincidence. That's where we're going. And he's knocking down all of these organizations and all of these entities within the government, and he's defunding them. He's talking about taking away money, and the motherfuckers is on the ground and they're playing this game of kickball in front of us. They having these chess moves, and they're acting like they all disagree. They're arguing back and forth about, you can't do this to the people. This right, this wrong. Why you doing this? And the whole time, it's all a game. It's all a fucking game. So stop getting so riled up. And you should get prepared for the new world order. Because if you're not going to get up and stop your government by going against it in full fucking force, you want to get up as Americans and you want to boycott all over this country. When are Americans going to get up and wake up? And I'm talking about all Americans, not just Black people. You're going to get up and we're going to rise up together and we're going to go to the real enemy. If you're not going to tear down the fabric of this country right now, then just prepare for the new world order, because you ain't gonna stop it. But in the meantime, save yourself a lot of undue stress. Stop screaming about the shit they telling you on the news. Stop crying about these games that they playing. Just stop. You're going through all these emotions for nothing, because none of it's real. It's all a fucking game. Save yourself the headache. Either we fight right now or we get in order for the new world order. You fucking decide. So I'm going to drop this link. I don't know if anybody wants to come up. I'm going to take a few callers. I'm only going to take one caller at a time. If anybody would like to come up and they have an opinion on anything that I have said, if they would like to add to it, they want to take away from it. If you guys are still in an uproar, so many people was like, yeah, some of y'all might think we should be boycotting. We talked about it at the beginning. Some of y'all might think, that, they're going to take away our Medicaid. Maybe that does still worry you. Maybe you think everything I said was some bullshit. I don't know. But there goes the link. If anybody would like to come up and give their 2 cents or talk about what it is that we see happening. Stop letting the news lie to you or rile you up. That's their job. That's their job. They work for the government. Mind control is the biggest weapon that the government uses against you. And the media is owned by them. And so they say the news is credible. I would never listen to the news. And I wouldn't listen to somebody who is on social media, because a lot of truth is on social media, but there's a lot of people who will come on social media and they'll go in and they sound real good, but all they're doing is regurgitating what they heard on the news. And so they're getting you riled up based on the news. I don't want to listen to anybody who tells me the news. When the news tell me something, I'll take what pieces you need to take from it, but then you got to look at the bigger picture. I never take everything that the news is telling me at all. And I suggest you start to be skeptical too. Shout out to you, Passport King says, wait till the fake extraterrestrial invasion happens. They said, we got some aliens coming. They did say that, right? How many of y'all ready for them to release these documents? Y'all ready for the MLK documents? Because when they come out, we gonna read them. And I already know some people gonna be like, well, I don't believe what they say anyway. They be lying. We gonna read them any goddamn way. How about that? All right, let me see. We got Faith in the house. Hey, Faith, go ahead. You got the flow. Your microphone on mute. You got to unmute it. I can't unmute it, Faith. Faith? Okay, let me see, Faith. I don't know if your microphone working, so we got Kelly up here. I'm going to drop you down and you can come back up again. You might got to fix your mic. I don't know if you walked away or not, Faith. Hey, Kelly, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about you said HRA would help you with jobs and training. And recently I was receiving HRA, I'd say within the past 3 years. And the only job training that they'll assist you with is job training that's going to keep you poor. They don't offer any programs that are going to help you to alleviate yourself from being on the system. And any training that they have is just designed to keep you poor.
Well, when you say the training that they have is designed to keep you poor, they don't have programs where they pay for training for you, like CNA courses or.
How much do CNAs make?
Okay, but I mean, but when you say
They're
that,
not going to pay for you to be an LPN.
no, but
And
if you
that's
go,
only, that's,
no,
that'll help you earn enough money to get yourself out of the projects, off the programs. They're
right,
not going to pay for that.
but if you don't, okay, well, I used to actually be a CNA, and if you become a CNA and you actually go to a job, the job will usually pay for you to become an LPN if you will commit to working there for a year after you get your degree. But what I will say is, I didn't say they'll give you programs that'll like make you rich, but being a CNA definitely will give you more money than just getting welfare, right? Because you're really poor if you're on welfare. They don't give you enough to pay your bills
Well,
with that.
that's true. Well, I was on welfare because I had lost my job. So I already have a degree. So there was really nothing they were really going to help me with.
Right. And so again, so let me ask you, because you said that you had a degree and you lost your job. And I agree that those services should be there to help people, as a help out of situations, a temporary fix. But I personally, you don't want to stay on that for the rest of your life, right? You wanted to get back on your feet.
Of course. But they
Right.
don't have anything that will help you. Like, say, I want to open a business. They don't have anything like that going on.
Well, the welfare department doesn't necessarily do that, but there are other departments that you can go to get businesses started and get help with that kind of stuff. That wouldn't be the type of thing that they help you do, And I think the purpose is to get people in a point to where they're making enough income that they can feed themselves and put a roof over their head. I think that's their basic ultimate goal.
That's true, but living in New York, it's very hard. Like I said, $50,000 a year, that's just basic. You're just helping yourself with the bare minimum. And I think you really need, as a single person, at least 100,000 to stop, paying, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well, absolutely. I agree with that. Like, can I ask you, and I don't know, y'all might think, I might be a little biased when I say this, but when I hear people say that, like they live in New York or they live in California, and I think that the cost of living is ridiculous. Why are people so opposed to moving? I think that New York is like a scam. I don't understand why they charge you $3,000 to live in a closet.
I say that myself too, and I say that I'm in New York for personal reasons. Okay, that's the only reason I'm staying here. But trust and believe, I have a house there in Georgia that I'll be in next year. Okay, I will not retire. I will not retire in New York because you can't afford. I don't know how people can afford to retire living in New York. I have a house somewhere else that I will be going to when I retire, and that's the only reason I'm here. One more year, and I'm out.
Okay, well, I agree with that. Like I say, I think that I will say this, I think that in life, I've been through a lot of things, and I have ultimately come to the fact that, when it's time to do something in life, I ultimately have to be the one to get up and make those decisions. And like I said, I think that there is an answer to all problems, and we might not always want the answer, but I would say, because I hear that from a lot of people, and I'm glad you have somewhere else to go. But if a person like it is too hard to live in New York, my suggestion to them would be to get up and move somewhere else where it's easier. That's what I would say to them. We have immigrants who come into this country and will go through all of that to get here because they feel like living here is a better American dream, when sometimes all we have to do is get up and just move to another state because it's more reasonable when it comes to living and the cost, and it will make our life better. We just got to go to another state sometimes. So, people got to learn to not be scared to make changes in their life that will bring about more peace and more things that are necessary for them to live. Sometimes we got to jump out on a limb, and we got to just make those else changes because it matters to us. And really, if we don't save ourselves, nobody else cares, and they're not going to. So, as long as there's a solution to something, I say find the solution. The only time I get down is when there's not a solution. Sometimes the solution is not one you want to, a choice you don't want to make, but it still exists.
You're right. But, like I said, certain times personal problems or a family member, if you're in a relationship, you want to go, the other person don't want to go. So you got to stay here and you're struggling and you can do better. So when you can't leave the other person, you can't leave, family, family, if you have an elderly family, you can't just up and leave them. They don't want to go.
Yeah. Well, if it's a relationship, I'm going to tell him, if you want to stay there, you're going to pay all the bills. See if you want to stay there. No, but I get you. You're right about that, because that's the first thing I think. If you live somewhere and you've been living all that time, you got family and stuff, it does make it hard. So I'm a little biased because my mother has 9 children, and I'm not what I would say is the black sheep, but I'm the wandering child. Like most of my brothers and sisters are in Colorado, or a lot of them are gathered in one other space. I have some siblings who are married, and because they've married and they moved off to where their husband's family are, but all of them are in spaces where their family are. I'm in Georgia. I don't have no family. So I'm a little biased because I'll get up in a minute and go where I need to go in life. So I won't stay attached because of family or friends. None of those things ever keep me, but that's just me. So I will say I do understand people in that sense, and so I get it. But I think we do at least agree. Let's talk about what we can agree on, is that welfare is not there to, give you this major career, but it is there to give you a step up out of the situation, because staying on welfare and receiving, food stamps or the little bit of money they give you if you have a child or something, that is still the worst state to be in. I mean, especially if you don't have like Section 8 or housing or something, that even getting a CNA job or something else is still a step up out of where you are to be able to at least feed yourself and get a roof over your head. So I've never looked at welfare like a lifelong thing. I guess that's the thing. I think we can both agree.
Yes, I agree with you 100% with that. I agree with you about, people who live in the projects, and I'm all about, you can't live in one place forever. Like you said, there's other people coming up who need that same assistance that you were afforded, and you have to give them that opportunity. You can't just stay in the projects. People are sometimes, I've been living here for 30 years. I'm not leaving. What do you mean? There's other people,
Right.
My partner, my mother-in-law, she's like, she doesn't want to move. She's been in that apartment. She's, I've been here 20 years, an SRO, I'm not leaving. It's an SRO. Why would you not leave after 20 years? I don't want to leave. The rent is cheap. I'm not leaving, but there are other people who need that spot. And you've gotten what you needed. You got your your leg up into transitional housing. Let someone else get a leg up. And that's, I think, is probably the biggest thing as to why you have a lot of people that are still on the street homeless, because there are other people who won't move up or off the ladder, and they don't understand the process that it has. If nobody's moving, then you're not going to have any movement on the bottom either.
That's true. So that I think we agree on that. I ain't click out of here. I guess she might have fell off. Well, thank you for coming up here. I think was it Kelly? Was that her name? Thank you for coming up here. I ain't kick her off, y'all. She just fell out. But I agree. It should be a stepping stone. So for me, I wouldn't be upset because it's not like they're gonna snatch your stuff from you. They're going to give limits, and the qualifications will be different, and there will be a limit to what you can get. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't. And I would tell y'all this. Sometimes the best thing in life that you can do for your life is the thing that makes you feel the most uncomfortable. Sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone. You do. And sometimes that's the best thing that you can do. Stepping out of your comfort zone, going towards something new, is the very thing that will put you in the place that you need to be in life. It may not be comfortable in the beginning, but you will find it was just exactly what you needed. Y'all got to not be scared to step forward in life. If you always stay in the same place in life, like, who want to do that? I don't want to look back 40 years and be in the same place. Now, if I bought my home, that's different. I don't mean place literally, but in the same state of mind. You need to have grown, whether it is financially, whether it's the way you think, whether it is your mental, your surroundings, your relationships. Those things should grow. You should not stay stagnant. That's not living. Anything that's stagnant might as well be dead. So if anything in life, you don't like where you are, but you scared to move, like, what the fuck you gonna lose? If you don't like where you are, it can only get better. And somebody gonna say it could get worse. It could, but you'll never know. So why don't you just go fucking try? How about that? Let me see. All right. Oh, here go Kelly right here. Okay, let me bring her back up real quick. I think she fell off. Go ahead, Kelly, so you can
Yeah, I
finish
was
up.
saying I agree with you. Yeah, I fell off technical difficulties. I said I agree with you 100%, but a lot of times fear holds people back from making those major moves, or I think the programs, they need to push the people out and and help with the other homeless people that are out here.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. So thank you for coming up. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before I let the next caller come up?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kelly. All right, let me see. We're gonna go to Lord of Controversy. It will not let me let you up because it says that your microphone is not connected nor your camera. So you got to drop down. I'm gonna drop you down, but when you come back up, when you first come in, you guys, it will tell you to test your microphone, test your camera. Make sure they're both working before you click enter the studio, because if not, it won't let me let you come up. It won't even let me. You don't have a microphone or a camera, so it won't let me do that. So I'm gonna go back to Faith. I think Faith good now. Hey Faith, you there?
I am. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I had a technical difficulties first coming
I
up.
figured. I figured it.
I got two questions. So people are talking about boycotting and not spending or however. But if we do that and don't spend our money, the stock market crash, right?
Yes, it can.
Okay. So what about the people that have worked all these years and invested their money in the stock market and really can't do anything with it because, it's their investing. That's how you're creating some of your wealth.
Well, I guess those are what we would call casualties of war. Those things happen. But I agree, because I think even another example of what you're trying to say is like in Target right now. I said this before, but Target has probably the biggest section of Black owned products, whether it's like pots and pans, hair products. And it's way more than just hair products, y'all. Like Target has a lot of Black owned products in there. And I will tell you, from a person who sells products online and has online stores, like you've made it, whatever field you're in. Like if you want to be a doctor, you're a nurse first. Like the doctor is the epitome of that. Let me tell you what the biggest thing of retail is. If you can get your stuff in Target stores all across the nation, you have made it. You're not going to make that many sales online, even though people think you are, because you have to have a warehouse to hold all of those. Now, if Target has 1,500 stores across the nation, then you have your stuff in 1,500 stores. They have their own warehouse in the back, right? So we must understand too, why people are saying boycott Target. If you're not going to go in there and buy those Black owned products, what happens is their sales begin to drop. Okay. And when their sales drops, Target will say you're not selling enough. And then all that hard work that's done to get on the shelf, they kick them out of the store and say you're not making enough sales. So now you're ruining Black businesses while you call yourself fighting for white women.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, and that was one of my things. People are always talking about boycott this, boycott that, but you'll hurt yourself. And you said it was casualties of war. It is, but why would you hurt yourself knowing that's where your investments are?
Now, if we're fighting for the right reasons, then I don't mind casualties of war. And the reason why I say that is, let's say as Black people, we are boycotting something for the right reason, and it actually gets us change. What's going to happen is, because they're going to feel the boycott, the stock market goes down a whole lot. So it may go down, but most people have their stuff in the stock market for the long haul, and you're trying to invest longer. So once our pain gets felt, what happens is we get what we're fighting for, and then we go back to business as usual, and the stock market will come right back up. So in that vein, I'm okay with those casualties in that moment. What we all need to do is understand on that page, if you Black and you in the stock market, don't pull it out when things start going down. Just leave it alone and let them do what they got to do, and it'll come back up. The stock market always go up and down, but right now we're going to make them feel it. When things get right, it'll come right back up again, and that's how we show our power.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing, I had made a statement, well, in the chat, that the welfare, housing, food stamps, and all that it was a program that was supposed to help women get up on their feet, or single mothers get up on their feet. But instead, what it did is it created um a dependency on the state. You get what I'm saying? Because the women got, a lot of them got used to not working, not paying that high rent, or the food stamps. You couldn't. I mean,
And remember too, though, what welfare first did in our communities with the men. They wouldn't allow the men to be in the house, so it actually
That's true.
destroyed families.
It did. It truly did, because you couldn't get welfare if you had a man in the house. And so a lot of the men were leaving the house just so they could get the women can get the welfare check, which I don't understand why they did that in the first place. But a lot of people on the system, I'm in Kansas, and I know Kansas, if your mother is on the a housing voucher, she can pass it on to her child.
Really?
Yeah, and that was the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. And I wasn't on it, but I know people that was on it. And when they said that they were going to um, pass, your mother was going to pass their voucher to them, I was like, huh? Yeah, my mom's on Section 8, and they're gonna pass the voucher to me when I turn 18, so I could be able to live there. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
that person had to have a child. So it's like welfare breeding welfare.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, this I will be honest about that too. I'm not necessarily against like getting rid of welfare. Let me tell you why. I mean, I don't want people to be out there homeless, but let me tell you something. We don't know what we're capable of until we are put in a position to have to be capable of something. And so when a person is comfortable on that, they will stay in that position. But I will tell you that again, remember when I talked about civil rights? When they put you on welfare and they put you in housing, that is not right to fair housing. That is not your civil right. Your civil right is what they were doing for immigrants, right? They were helping them to purchase homes. They were giving them home loans. They were putting them up in an apartment for 2 years, right? They were giving them time to get on their feet. They weren't letting them stay there for forever. And so at the end of the day, when you are somebody who is caught on welfare and your food and your roof over your head and your house and everything comes from that, we must understand that you give the government then the ability to snatch everything that you need in your livelihood from underneath you. And we may find that happening right now when they start to do this. Let's say, although they don't say that's what they're going to do, like they're not kicking people off that need it, but they are limiting the terms. So what happens is, what happens in 2 years now, they got to get out of housing, and they've been there all their life and they don't know what to do because they've been dependent on it for so long. Like, we got to get away from being so dependent on the government that if they don't pay our light bill, we don't have no lights. If they don't make sure that there's food on the shelf, we don't know how to eat. We lack so much self-sufficiency, and that can be a dangerous thing when you are dealing with the government that uses and abuses its people. It will push a button and it destroy everybody that depends on them. And the less you depend on the government, the more safe you're going to be. But as Black people, the last place we should be is in the whims of the government, that everything we need belongs to them. So we got to get up off of that and learn to be self-sufficient. You know, we talk about in the civil rights or before that, all of the stuff that we owned, and we do have the ability. We talk as Black people all the time about how great we are, how we invented so much, how we so strong and we so resilient. So then get up, baby, and fucking be resilient and stop depending on the government to put a roof over your head or something like that. You know, y'all need to come together and we need to work together. If that means you got 50 people in your damn Section 8, why all 5 of y'all can't live in a house and work and everybody get on each other's feet and y'all all pay bills and learn how to get along? Maybe if the government didn't take care of us, we would learn how to take care of each other, and we would stop being so divided when it came to families, because we would need each other to survive. So, you know,
too busy.
I'm okay with them pulling the rug from underneath us, because they're gonna do it sooner or later.
Right. Because we're too busy competing with each other, and that's the problem. Instead of helping each other, tend to compete with each other. But I think there should be term limits on everything.
Yeah.
Working for the government, getting assistance, everything. Because if you don't get a term limit, you're going to create comfortability. I can't even say the word,
Yeah.
but you get comfortable with it and you get lazy and
Yeah.
you get complacent. And that's what's happening. And that's what has happened. And that's why we're where we are to this day. And like you said, instead of helping each other, we don't help each other. We want to compete with each other. If you help somebody, you can't compete with them. That's an oxymoron. So they found a way to keep us apart because they keep us competing instead of helping each other.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Faith, for coming up. I appreciate you for coming up here and sharing your thoughts with us. And thank you for all the support you always giving to my channel. I appreciate you.
Most definitely, Miss. You have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I want to, before I bring the next person up, I want to say thank you. I don't know when these came through in the Cash App because I was in my zone running my mouth, y'all, but I want to say thank you so much to Kalita. I believe I said it right. Kalita, she sent the Cash App $82. Say happy birthday. Thank you so much for the Cash App. And Regina sent something. She said $25. And shout out to James, sent $10. They both said happy birthday. James sent some love to you back. I want to say thank you for that. I also want to tell my people over on MX Network, if there's anything you guys would like to add to this conversation, if one of my moderators could drop the link over there. And if anybody has a question, put it in the chat and I will definitely read out your question if you would like me to do so for those over there on MX Network. But I just want to say before I bring up the next person, I'm gonna bring up Tanjan. You next, Tanjan. I want to say this. Like, let me give you guys an analogy and maybe y'all can understand this. I think that when we are dependent on something, an organization, a group, a government, or a person that has complete control over our livelihood, that is never a position that you want to be in. And I'm going to equate it to a personal experience of mine. So I was married for 15 years. And the reason I stayed for 15 years, one of those things was because I was a Christian at the time, and I really thought that when you got married, that was supposed to be till death do you part. So you're supposed to work hard on that. And I wanted my family, and I wanted my marriage to work. We had kids, and I really wanted what I had. So I fought for that and held on. But I will tell you the other thing aside from that was that I was a stay-at-home wife. So my husband, he took care of all of the bills. I took care of the home. I took care of the kids. I did the cooking. I did the cleaning. I did the accounting. He got his check. He bring it in the house. I'm the one that paid the bills, told him what was left. He didn't even shop for his own clothes. He would come home and he would go in there and there'd be new suits. There'd be new ties. There'd be new cufflinks. There'd be new shoes. He didn't have to do shit, okay? So I took care of the home and he took care of all of the bills. But this is the thing. He treated me like shit for all 15 of those years. And there were so many times that I wanted to leave. I became resentful at one point because I felt trapped, okay? And the reason I could not leave was because I depended on this man for my livelihood. Without him, now I want you to equate my husband to the fucked up ass government. When you living in housing, y'all know them goddamn apartments ain't shit. It's full of a bunch of crime. They don't give a fuck about the bugs around that motherfucker. If it's got roaches in it or somebody else got roaches, they don't come spray your apartment. They don't give a damn if the faucet is leaking, if the paint falling off, if it's lead in the motherfucker. They don't care. And so you living in bad circumstances, but you'd rather have a roof over your head than have nothing. They do not treat your ass good. And you stay because it's the bare minimum, but you need that roof over your head because you have a fear of, if I don't have this, I don't know how to take care of myself. So I'm going to stick where I'm not really happy. Let's be honest. For anybody that's on welfare or anybody that live in Section 8 and you live in like some houses shit, okay? Or you live in a neighborhood where Section 8 you can afford and you in the ghetto. Is that really the life that you want, or do you accept that life? Like, do you really want a nice house in a nice neighborhood? Don't you want to live in a house that's not infested with bugs sometimes, or there's not gunshots outside, or the heater's not working, or whatever the fuck and shit, and the stove is all raggedy and don't nothing working when you call them, they don't come fix them, but yet still they always trying to tell you how you should be living your life. Like, if you really sat back and thought about what your desires are in life, what kind of home would you like to have for you and your children? What type of neighborhood would you like to live in? I'm sure that it's not the neighborhood and the housing projects that you do live in. That's not what you want. But you're settling for that because without that, you don't know how to put a roof over your head and you don't know how you're going to live. I stayed in that miserable ass relationship. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to be in a family that we loved each other. We were each other's partners. We treat each other good. I didn't want to be the only one putting effort into this shit. And after a while, I felt trapped. And I said, damn, I don't want to be here. But what the fuck am I going to do? Because he paid all the bills. I put him first in everything. So I put my education on the back burner. I ain't worried about having no motherfucking jobs. I ain't built up my career. What I'm gonna go do? Ask somebody, can I get a job after all these years and I've been a motherfucking homemaker? No, I ran businesses. I made a little money on the side. I did those different things. I had my restaurant. I busted my ass. But when it really came down to it, if I was leaving, I knew I was the one taking care of the kids because he didn't take care of the kids. That was my job. I don't take care of all these fucking kids. I got 5 kids. And so because I could not do this on my own, I was forced to stay somewhere I didn't want to be. And because you think you can't do it on your own, you are forced to be in the projects in Section 8. That's not the life you fucking really want. It's not the life that you want. Be honest with yourself. And I'll never forget the day I just didn't care no more. I was numb and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I'm done. But I had a plan. I'm not leaving. You ain't got to leave. This is our house. It's big enough. I'm going to take a room. You have a room. I got my college education. Well, I finished it for free because he was a professor of one of the many things that he did. And so I said, I want to finish my degree. I don't want no alimony. I don't want no child support. I just want the ability to take care of myself. And I put so much into you. I put nothing into me. So all I want is to be able to finish my fucking college degree. And I did that. But to this very day, I don't use that degree. But let me tell y'all something. I was so scared to take care of myself and my kids and be on my own. That shit stressed me out so bad. I will never forget the day that I was moving to go to a new place and I had all the stuff in the truck and I had to move. It was the first time I was moving on my own. We had already separated. I got a place. And then from there, I had to move to a new place because the landlords wanted their house back sooner than I thought they would. And so I had to pack up and go somewhere. I didn't know where I was going. And I had to put my stuff in storage. And I gave the kids to their father and I was going to go stay at a friend's house on the couch until I could find another place. And it stressed me out so bad. The day I moved, it was my birthday. It was March the 3rd, several years ago, many years ago. And I was so stressed out. I woke up that morning and literally threw up because I was physically ill from how nervous I was. I forgot it was my fucking birthday. And all the years I've lived, I've never been that stressed out. I forgot it was my birthday. And I was stressed out like a motherfucker. But you know what? Through all of that, I am a multiple six-figure earner. I live in a beautiful Black community in Georgia, and there's a golf course across the street. I don't even golf. I don't even want to golf. But I enjoy sipping my coffee in the morning and looking out and watching Black retired couples do their stuff on the golf course. I like the fact that my son loves to ride his bike. That's part of his therapy. When he wants to unwind, he rides his bike. And so he get out there, he go get his mongoose, and I can let my son ride in his neighborhood. Sometimes he'll go riding at like 10 o'clock at night because we're in a safe neighborhood. The neighbors wave, they say, hey, we all see each other, we look out for each other. And this is the type of life that I would have wanted. And I have a better life because I stepped out on fuck this shit. I don't know what's in front of me, but I'm not staying here. I have a better life than I ever had with him. He called me and need money sometimes, and I get it because he did a good job of taking care of us all those years. We're not angry with each other. We raise our kids, and that's it. You know, we gonna get along. I don't do the drama. He don't do the drama. You know, but my life make his life look like this. I stepped out on that fear because I just wasn't going to do this no more. And doing that brought me to a place in my life that back then I didn't imagine I would be. I have the best life I could ever have right now. And I did this. And guess what? Rent is due tomorrow. And I can pay all my rent all by myself. And I still got plenty of money left over. And I got food in my refrigerator. And I got a car in the driveway. And my kids have everything they need. And for all of my grown kids that are gone, if they need something, they can call their mama. And their mama got their back financially and everything. And so what I'm saying is y'all don't really want to fucking be in the goddamn projects. Y'all don't want to live in that goddamn type of condition. I know that you don't. And so I'm telling you to step the fuck out on some real shit in your life. And you never know what's on the other side if you just try. In the beginning, you might forget it's your birthday. You might be so stressed out, you literally become ill and throw up because It's not always easy to step out on some shit and you don't know what it's going to be like. But sometimes in life, you just got to understand, I don't want to be here no more. And I don't know what's on the other side of this, but I'm about to fucking go find out. So get up and go find out, y'all, because the government don't give a fuck about you. They got you in shitty places. They are abusing you and mistreating you. They got you on Medicaid. And the first thing they're going to tell you when you bring your hyper 5-year-old in there is he got ADHD. He's 5. He's supposed to be hyper. Stop letting these people bully you and destroy your life also you can have a roof over your head. Because I promise you, you can step out and put a roof over your own head. It's not as hard as you think it is. I know society makes you think that. There are things you can do. You can get a better education. You can get some skills. You can start your own business, especially with online. Making money online is not as hard as starting a regular business. It's from somebody who had a brick and mortar restaurant to being an online business. It's work still. But I don't need all them employees. I don't got to get up and go out to a restaurant every day. I don't got to pay overhead. I don't got no lease. I don't got no motherfucking light bill. I don't got no employees I got to pay every single goddamn week like I used to that vein. And so what I'm telling you is there's so much opportunity. I don't care what it is. Find something to do because there's plenty you can do. But stop staying stuck on the government. The government hates you. They are our worst enemy, especially if you're a Black person. Remember that welfare they give you started off separating your families and wouldn't let the men be in the house with their children and their wives. And look at where it's brought us. In the projects, all you see is a bunch of single women with kids and no fucking men around. I think it's time we move away from that. And you're going to find how much better you and your children's lives are when you get up and get the fuck out of that. So try it. You might find out later that you're much more happier than where you are right the fuck now. I want to say shout out to Dr. Tracy. Shout out, Dr. Tracy. Thank you so much for that. You are always coming in here showing big love. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the birthday wishes. That's right. She says we cannot depend on the U.S. government. Truthfully, we are the government. Absolutely. Look, they need us to run the way they run stuff. And if we stop cooperating, it's game over immediately. So either get in line or game over their ass real quick. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Tracy. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. All right, Tejan, I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to bring you up. Go ahead, Tejan. How you doing tonight?
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to say this. I hear what the sisters are saying and stuff, but they in the Bay Area, it's the whole opposite. Now you know how when we say low income housing, they be real nice. The low income houses be nice. You pay 30% or 40% of your income, but the trick is you get you get subsidized for so long because they got that 5-year voucher, that 10-year voucher. And you out there trying to look for work so you can keep that rate up. So when that voucher does run out, you're able to you able to go ahead and pay full rent. Okay. But what they purposely do is it seems like they look at your background. I don't know what the hell they talking about with Elon and them, because the government, all they was doing is making sure, like, for example, you got the lease, you got in this nice low income housing, and you only paying $220 a month. You make $700 because you don't make much as it is, but your rent is $220, and then all of a sudden, the voucher, you go looking for work because you have that time frame to go look for work, and you may find a job or you may not. But it seems like every time you find a job, they don't want to pay you the right type of wage. You're struggling. Now you're almost forced to work 2 jobs. Now how you gonna be home with them kids when you don't have time to deal with those kids? And so
let me ask you this too, Tanjan. So those housing places though that are like that, they're based on your income, right? So what I have seen happen to people is they start off with low income and get in there, but then if they excel and get a better job or they finish school or they get a trade, then what happens is they're paying based on their income, and now they're paying way more than that apartment is really worth, when for that amount they could be living in something better now that they have that. So that's the problem. It's a boy on YouTube. I was watching him and he done blew up on YouTube. That boy making $10,000-$20,000 a month. He live in that housing, and see, this the thing. Now he got to go look for a new place real quick, or What is 30% of 20,000? Now he paying money like he might as well be in some high condo down in Buckhead in Atlanta, or he should be up in some high rise. Because if you start making a lot of money, they're gonna want 30% of whatever you make, and it don't matter.
Right.
So
Well, in
it's
this
people
case,
stagnant because they don't want to step out and make too much so that they don't have to leave. And if you make too much, then they take more money.
I seen that too. That's the without the voucher low income housing. They did that in Thomas Paine Square. There was folks who was making money, but they didn't want the managers to know that they were making more, so it turns into where you start paying market rate. They didn't want to pay. That's like, okay, if I'm gotta pay $3,000 for a 2-bedroom, then I might as well go pay a house note. But in this case, this is where the trap is with this move to work voucher, or this temporary voucher, this temporary Section 8 voucher. It's supposed to help get you from being homeless. But when you go looking for work, it seems like they're having a hard time hiring you all of a sudden. You either overqualified and you know your time. It seemed like they was watching you the whole damn time, or they reported you. I was in that situation. It's like, it seemed like somebody's been watching us and keeping tabs on us where we don't thrive and earn money and make money and work, so we can keep the place that we're living in. So that's why it's a lot of evictions in those nice low income housing. And it's not because they are doing something wrong. Even in some of the hoods got some real nice fly low income housing. And unfortunately, some of the brothers that got to go at that time, they got to go sell or make some money the wrong kind of way. So I get that. This is how come I'm working with you, because again, I'm in that predicament right now, and I want to prevent that. So this is why I go to your boot camp class. This is why I say, okay, I just learned how to do some new stuff. Now I'm painting and writing books with my painting, so I could make money with my painting. I mean, I just became a crafter. So it's like, that's what I want to do, and learned how to make wine glasses. I learned those things, and I made a pillow for you. And I looked at it and says, I don't like that material. So, I got the pillow. I don't like the material. I want a whole different material for you. I want a velvet plush for you. And I'll make your nice pillow. So I just want to say that I'm for some reason, I want to be really self-sufficient and get off this disability right now. I am, like, I almost died again. You know what I'm saying? I just lost a stepdaughter. You know what I'm saying? And I almost died again. He was in a hospital with me, and I had to give me 3 bags of blood transfusions. And I'm trying to fight for that. I want to get into the natural medicines where they don't have to be doing all kind of stuff to my body, because they want to do some stuff to my body. I'm telling you. So that's the reason why I be bugging you a lot and saying, when is the last class meeting? So
well, let me ask you a question in that, though, because when people, you say that in people in those situations, but I think there's even more opportunity now. So let me ask you to tell the people, do you feel that there is opportunity out there, though? Sometimes we don't always have the knowledge, but there's a lot that we could be doing to make money. I feel like as Black people, we aren't always given the knowledge about money and how it works. And even now, we have this online era, and in being in the boot camp, wasn't there a lot of stuff that you was like, I ain't never heard of none of this? It's the knowledge that we don't have. And I think even before online, there was so many ways that people that understand money and wealth, they are out there implementing these rules and this knowledge that we had no understanding of. And so we got to go and look for the knowledge that we seek, because even in all the things that you learn, there are things that people can start making money right now today and don't even got to spend nothing but some time to get them going. Am I right or am I wrong? But most people don't even know these things exist.
And this is how come, and I agree. Here's my thing. This is how come I'm glad I know you, and I meet with you, and we do the boot camp and stuff. It's so much knowledge. My issue is because of my blood loss and my anemia, my chronic anemia and stuff. I get lost. So when I do the work, like you say, I listen to your videos and stuff, and I say, okay, I know exactly how to get in, like you say, but then at the end of the day, it's gonna be like, okay, everybody want to call and they want me to help them with what they want me to pay them to help me with my website. And it's like, right now, I can't do it, or I did something wrong. And it's always, or I got confused. I'm always getting confused. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait. And that's why so I won't get depressed. I turn to crafting. I do stuff like I make blankets and pillows and stuff. I do those, and I get up and I focus on that. So when you say, Tanjon, put what you want us to market, if you decide to do that, I'm gonna have it already. I'm gonna have it already, and I'm gonna say, okay, God have my back because I did the work. Because that's what you expect.
If you have any questions in the meantime, you can email me. I am I will put together a class to see how everybody is doing. She's talking about after my boot camp is over, I kind of check in with everybody. So she waiting for a check-in class. We already finished all her boot camp classes. So I will put that together in my schedule for that. But in the meantime, if you have my email me if you have a question or something that you need help with, and focus on that. Remember, the one rule that we have in boot camp is no matter how much you have learned, I need you. You can always come back to that knowledge. I need you to focus on one thing and get that one thing done, and let's get it going, and you start making money. After that, you can always come back and add any of those other things. So the stuff that you're working on, let's get that stuff done, because when we have the class where we check in on everybody, whatever you need to finalize those things. And I'm hoping to see a lot of people have their stuff done, because when I check in with y'all, what I'm hoping you'll do is give me your business platform, what you're doing and what it is you produce, so that I can help you promote it. That's the goal of all of this. So
I really appreciate that, Michi, and everything that you do. I do want her to do something. So by the time when I get some money on your birthday, I'm gonna do something for your birthday and past birthday. I gotta do something for you, Michi. It's
you gotta do that. You know what the best thing you can do for me? You can finish the project you working on, so we can get your business started, and I can say, look at my student, and that make me proud. That's what I want you to do for me. I want you to.
I'm not gonna show you nothing right now. I'm gonna let the next sister or brother come up and speak to you. But before I do, now I don't really normally get into mess and starting stuff with people and gossip and say nothing bad about folks. But I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna send you the link of Elon Musk. I'm not Elon. JD Vance and Trump bitch slapping Zelensky, and it was almost a fight in the White House.
We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. I seen it.
That's all I want to say. So I say happy birthday,
man, kinda. Because afterwards, you saw Trump cut. I don't know if y'all know. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow, y'all. Trump cuts that man out. But this is the thing. Did you see he went on the news after that, and they was asking him if he felt like he should apologize to Trump, and he just felt so bad when he got kicked out, and it's like he trying to stop the war, but he said the wrong shit, and they punked him. I felt like it was high school, because he's the president of a whole, but that made him look really bad, and then he just seemed really punked, and he looked like he wanted to cry at one point, and then he was on the news afterward trying to not apologize. He said he didn't feel like he owed him an apology, but still, I don't know, it was funny. Trump and them, they kind of ganged up on him. They did. They advanced him. They kind of went off on the man. I felt bad for him the way he was getting cussed out, but at the same time, I wasn't mad, because I was like, Trump be going in. I mean, I'm glad to have such an entertaining president. Like, I ain't never seen nobody get cussed out like that on a press.
Well, Zelensky shouldn't have went. Zelensky shouldn't try to be. He was trying to be a side-eye smart ass. He shouldn't have tried to check.
What I say, Tanjon, I don't think Trump is racist, but the one thing he is an asshole. I don't know why he tried that man, because you already know Trump was finna Trump on his ass. Trump was exactly who he was. He went in on him. He was like, wait a minute, bro, hold on. Who the fuck you think you talking to? Because you could get your ass up out of here, and we could just let all you niggas die. Because if we don't give you weapons and we don't help you out, it's over for y'all. You think we scared? You scared, boy? Say the wrong thing and look, and JD Vance, say that shit.
He has so much respect for Trump, but he didn't like JD Vance. He came at him hard. He was like, "No, you don't get to talk to him like that. Hold on."
Now. He didn't. If y'all did not see this, we're gonna watch this clip tomorrow for our Saturday panel, because we're gonna talk about it. He didn't really say that, but I'm paraphrasing. I'm giving y'all the black version, but they did go in on that man. Like, I agree with the shit Trump was saying, but I felt bad for him, because they completely cussed him the fuck out. It was hilarious to me. It was
like pimp slap a nose, like pimp slap a nose. He done pimp slap. Okay.
All right,
Anyway, I appreciate you. And I'll talk to y'all later. Thank y'all. Thanks, family. Well, say hi to
okay.
me.
Oh, he like, no, he want to say hi. Hey, baby.
Hi.
Look, you did all that just to say hi, Con.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay. Medica, oh, and I wanted you to tell me that I learned school. My first time of going to school is I go and meet my teacher with my friends.
Do you
Yeah.
like your teacher?
Yeah, yeah, she makes me. I can't believe my aunt's going to see her. That's what makes me want to love her so much. I love
Well,
her.
that's good. That must mean you have a good teacher and she's nice to you. She better be nice to you, okay? Does she have a lot of patience with you and she lets you talk and say what you have to say and listen to you?
I think so. I got some smart. So that's so the way I go to school every time I see my friends. That's how I start going to school.
Well, good. I'm glad that you like school. Sometimes school can be hard for you. I know being around all them other kids and socializing. Sometimes they probably get on your nerves. Oh, he don't push the button. Yeah, that's my baby. I talk to him every time he come up. He is autistic. And so I hope y'all don't mind. If y'all do mind, I don't even care because this is Michi show, but I'm always take the time and talk to the baby. He wanted to tell me happy birthday. He be in the boot camps and in the classes. He always come in and say hi when his mom is learning stuff. But he know me. He know Michi. So he wanted to tell me happy birthday. He must have pushed the button and clicked off. So if he's still watching, thank you for the birthday wishes, honey. You have a good night. All right, let me see. I'm coming to Tracy next, and then I see Buckhorse DC and Kev. I see you came up in the back a minute ago, so that's the order I'm coming in, y'all. All right, Tracy, go ahead. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's not till Monday, but thank you. I'm celebrating right now till the end of the week next week.
Oh no, it's birthday month, boo. You know. Now, I wanted to go down a rabbit hole with you a little bit. The Epstein files, right? You know that they SDNY did the okie doke on Pam, right? And they talking about they having this internal fight. And I heard a report earlier today about who exactly is in those files, and when they said it, it made perfect sense. The guy was talking about, you know, we thinking it's a bunch of senators and congressmen and Hollywood folks. He was like, no, those ain't the power players. This Epstein thing and this cover up is about Wall Street and the people, the people that's going to be that we're going to find out in these black books are people that we're not going to know. People like hedge fund managers and people of that ilk. These are the power players that Epstein was playing around with because they were the ones who made his what they call his book that made him the money that made him to be able to buy the island and this, that, and the third. And
let me ask you this though, because I was watching it. I know they said the first portion. Now, the first portion seemed to be like kind of all of the stars and people he was hanging out with, you know, that wasn't necessarily on the island. We kind of heard of that list before. So did they release a second half yet or no?
No. What happened was
hold that one back. I feel like that's
well, 8 o'clock this morning, they were supposed to have all the files, and they were showing on Benny Johnson's show. He was showing a film about the guys about FBI holding all these boxes and taking all this evidence out of Epstein's home. Then they switched to two FBI whistleblowers, and they were talking about how they would call SDNY, the New York Mafia, that they're running this whole what we call deep state thing, that basically the FBI is not a law enforcement agency. It's a intelligence agency that works with the other intelligence agencies. And so that's where and they're blackmailing the Wall Street guys. And that's why when this thing blows up, you know that we bought a bunch of gold and stuff, right? And that's why they're talking about looking at the gold in Fort Knox to see what we got, so forth and so on. Down this rabbit hole, here we go. When the Epstein file blows up Wall Street, the stock market is going to crash because they're already talking about an imminent crash anyway. Stock market's going to crash. Trump is then, as you stated earlier about the crypto, he's also going to put us on the gold standard again. Because so he's going to try to time this thing up with the release of the Epstein files. Then Pam gave Cash 14 days from today, which would be the 14th of March. So between now and then, we're going to have to find out who stopped the information from actually getting out to Pam's office, because his boxes, his tapes, his hard drives, it's a bunch of information. All of that is going to bring down Wall Street, which is going to again crash our economy. And between crypto, which is going to help pay off our debt, and the goal that we have, this is why they're trying to cut the government the whole 9 yards. The only thing about your synopsis of the situation about the New World Order is that this is changing. The old world order, we were supposed to end up in World War III, and that's where Hillary was supposed to take us to. Trump didn't want all of that killing. He's still taking us to where you were talking about. It's just that he didn't want all the killing and the wars and stuff.
It's more than one way.
That's the reason why they're mad at him.
It doesn't matter if the program, I think even with him deviating from the LGBTQ, some things will be deviated from, I mean, even in what their plan is, but it's more than one way to skin a cat. The thing is, what will be the goal behind World War III? And if that can be accomplished without the war, because it's not about the war, it's about what will be accomplished with it. As long as they can do that, then there's no need for war.
Yeah, that's where the depopulation was supposed to come into play. Right? Because they were testing out two things, because remember what was that thing? Agent 201 or something of that nature, where they were testing COVID in 2019, just before we got hit with the virus. Well,
the lab that was in China, and that lab was funded by America.
As we're finding out the truth, because they censored all of that stuff during the time that it was actually happening. I mean, you couldn't even talk about it. You got demonetized for talking about it. So but that's where I wanted to add to your rabbit hole. I love the way you went, because I've been reading this since '91 as far as all of this, and yeah, it's
It's a lot. I don't think people. I think my I don't know if it's not a gripe, nor I guess a fear. My biggest fear for our people is that like, it sounds good when people talking about it, and even if people don't dismiss what I'm saying, I think a lot of people will listen to it in the moment, but then they leave and go on about their life and dismiss it in a way that they don't prepare for the things that are coming. I don't think that people really think about, when the depopulation part comes, what is that going to be like? I still am not going to discount war, civil war. There's a lot of buttons that are being pushed, right? So even if it's not a war from another country, I'm still not, scratching off war in our own state against our own country, civil war, right? This is why you have someone like Trump that's riling people up, and you got these people who want a nationwide, it's on the news, boycott. Now people want to buck up at stuff, right? And so even though people aren't talking about it in the news anymore, there's still people protesting all in the streets for this and that. Every time Trump do something, they protested against Doge, then they was protesting against something else. So all of these emotions bring all this uprising, and at some point you might see some shit take off, right? And so my thing is that when shit hits the fan, I don't think our people will be ready. I don't think that a lot of people will be prepared for what's going to happen to survive the shit hitting the fan. Then the second thing of that is, even if you're older and you're not going to be able to stop where the new society is going, have any of us that have children stopped to think about the world we're leaving them to, that we have prepared them for that? Because you got to go and leave your children. For me, I'm a mother in this new world. They're going to be deep into it once I'm gone, because this is the new civilization coming for them. So when I think about those two things, are we preparing our children for the future that is going to be upon them? That will be their new world more than it's ours, because the depopulation is more so about the older folks, not the younger folks. The younger folks have their minds programmed. They're the easy ones to get them to follow. So, you know, when something does hit, understand that whatever it is, I think that older people, you know, my age and older, for those of us that remember how things should be, and we're opposed to this new bullshit, right? And we're the ones screaming, you know, a man ain't a woman, is a man. For those of us that are feeling like that, that's the people they want to depopulate, not the younger people. And so they're going to come to us, and we're not going to all make it. And so when you're gone, what are you telling your kids? So I think we listen and it's entertaining, but do we really prepare from what we've heard? That's my fear.
No, you're absolutely right. And when you talked about earlier about how AI is going to be teaching the children, that's where, again, being careful about AI, that's where the indoctrination can come into play as well. And when you said about the population of older people, it got me to thinking, well, isn't that what COVID targeted? It targeted the old, because the young, now they wanted to make you think that the young was vulnerable, but the statistics indicated that
The older population, nursing
child
homes,
had almost had invulnerability to COVID, where a person, I'm 64, a person my age would, I had to be very careful. You understand what I'm saying? I used to smoke, and just so I would have had
of the funerals that we saw, and people who lost their family members, majority, there were exceptions to that rule, but majority of them were their parents, grandparents. It was older people. That's where I think a lot of those were coming from, nursing homes and things like that. So you're right, it did target the older generation, absolutely. And you have to be mindful when it comes to viruses and the way that they create them and send stuff out. They have enough advancement in their science to target certain populations, absolutely, by DNA or just by your physical makeup, knowing that they've been poisoning us for many, many, many years. And so when you get to the older population, it's a lot more things that, you know, the older population suffer from. So like if you're going to give them some type of virus, you give them a virus that kind of hits them in a way that, you know, their body is already weak. So yeah, absolutely. You know, chemical warfare can be very tailored to a group of people. It doesn't have to affect everybody that's in the population. They're smarter than that. We're way more advanced, you know, than that. So I agree with you.
And that's why all these chemicals and so forth are in our foods, in our water, in our air. I mean, the chemtrails and a whole 9 yards. We don't know what these chemicals are actually doing to our bodies. I mean, they were talking about yellow 5 or red 3, and I'm sitting there eating Cheetos the other day, and they was talking about it. Girl, you see how fast I put them things down? I just was like, I can't get away from it. You know what I mean?
So we have I'm gonna say this and I'll let you say your last thing and I'm gonna bring up the next person. But you know, we have Robert Kennedy Jr. in the White House, and he's talking about removing all of these things. But I will remind everybody from that piece of the rabbit hole that I haven't gone down yet, you know, in all of this, because it's so much to be said, is that I think it seems like an admirable thing that he is removing the poisons in the way that they're killing us when it comes to food and things like that. But I will also remind everybody that that doesn't really matter much, because what we know is food is changing. So we're going to have a lot of lab created foods and things like that. So the food that we necessarily see today will not be the same food that we're eating tomorrow. This is also why, if we be honest, they're not worried about taking money away from the farmers. Being here in Georgia, I spoke directly to farmers directly, and they were paid to destroy their crops. Like at one point, right? Instead of paying them in the store, they paid them to get rid of the crops. And so there's a lot of funny style stuff going on when we talk about the farm and our food stuff. So even when they're like, oh, the immigrants are leaving, who gonna work these farms? Like, again, that's because there ain't gonna be no farms. It's not all food is gonna be manufactured within, in like how we have, farm grown fish and all these different things. Everything we eat will be coming from, labs and being created artificially. So all of our food will be genetically modified. Our government is very saturated with Israel. Okay. And I'll say it in the best way I can on here, but it's saturated with Israel. Israel is actually the people who came up with the technology for genetically modified food. They actually grow strawberries out there in the desert because they learned how to do that. And so people should pay a little bit more attention to what's going on in Israel, what they do, and the stuff that they have. And then you can make a big connection to what you see happening here. But you should know they're a big majority of our politicians. So, so I don't think that, even that what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing seems very admirable, but it's all about emotions and making the people believe. They're playing with us. They're playing the control game. And I don't care what anybody says. I tell people this all the time, that human beings are moved by emotions. We are not moved by logic. Logic does not move people. Emotions move people. I don't care what nobody says. That is a fact. It is a psychological fact. It is a fucking fact. Okay. People are moved by emotions.
That's true.
They're not moved by logic. So they're playing this emotion game with us, because that is how they persuade us and herd us into a certain belief, making us believe that it's our own belief.
And to strengthen that argument, they tested you with going after Canada, talking about Governor Trudeau and whether or not Canada should be our 51st state. They talked about, they teased you with Greenland, things of that nature. Now, strategically, it makes sense, especially how close Russia is to Alaska. You overtake Alaska, you come down through Canada. Canada doesn't have an army that would be able to stop Russia or China coming through their territory. So it makes plenty sense to, do that, maybe. But just to say that, they put that out there, making people now talk about it and think about it. Do we want to have that? Do we want to expand the U.S.? I mean, in our Constitution and our forefathers, they were expansionists. I mean, that's why they went from one coast all the way to the other coast. They are expansionists. I mean, but I'm rambling now. I just wanted to say again, happy birthday. I listen to you every time you come on. Sometimes I want to step in and say a few words, and then other times I just want to listen to what other people have to say. That's real diversity of thought, not of skin color. That's all I got to say. Good night and have a good evening, you all.
You too. Thank you for the birthday wishes, and thank you for coming up and sharing your perspective with us.
All right, you too.
All right. Shout out to Faith. Faith says, now we see why Biden was sending so much money. He was being bullied. Trump wasn't going for it. Get your ass out of here. She talking about when they was going off on Homeboy, or the president, what's his name, Zelensky. They was going off on him. However the heck you say his name. I want to say shout out, because somebody asked for the Cash App in the chat. So I want to say shout out to Maxine. Thank you so much for the Cash App. She sent $50. And thank you, Miss Sheila, for $25. Thank you for the birthday wishes, y'all. I appreciate that. And thank you for everybody in the chat that's been saying happy birthday. I see it. I would address all of them if I could. So thank you very much for them, though. Somebody said, I think I lost the comment. Dang, where did it go? I was gonna put it up here. Somebody, I think her name is Deanna. She was saying for me to please tell everybody in the truth about the people who are on these programs, that 70 or something % of them are not Black people. So I want to say to her that I agree with that comment to a certain extent. I don't know if that's a certain number of them, but Black people are not the biggest recipients for welfare benefits. That is very true. This is why my thumbnail, I thought it was funny because you know how like in pictures and stuff, they always try and play Black people. So when I found pictures of a variety of people, you know how they always put that token Black person in there, but for the most part it's a bunch of white people, other people. Well, I was like, well, they played themselves this time, but this is perfect because it seemed like the right ratio. We got one Black person in there and we got all these white folks crying about their welfare. Seemed fair to me. So if you look at the thumbnail, it definitely is. I put that thumbnail up there on purpose, okay? Because everybody, that's one more thing. You're going to get a lot of Black people that are going to be in an uproar about, oh my God, they're going to cut these programs. Look at they racists. Look at what they trying to do and take away all this stuff and these benefits they help Black people with. I want Black people not to get caught in it. I'm not going to tell you that we don't have people in our community that have these services. And we already talked about whether they need them or whether they are dependent on them. They addicts of the system. I need y'all to get off this addiction you have to depending on the system completely like this. And it's possible. Let's find a way to get you strong and on your feet to be your own provider for the things that you need, But I will tell you that if these programs are affected in that manner to where it hurts people, it is definitely going to be other races more than it is Black people. I know that media has told y'all that we are the welfare queens, but statistics will tell you that's not true. Now, if you go to the welfare office in your inner city and you live in a predominantly Black inner city, yeah, you go in there and all you see is Black people. But I've been in a lot of places in this country. My mama liked to live everywhere. And I told y'all coming up, she thought that if you went to the white communities, like them was the better ones. So try going to the welfare office in a Hispanic community. There's nothing but Hispanics in there. Try going to a welfare office in the white community. And I promise you, it ain't nothing but white people in there. So it's all about proximity and where you are. If you are in a Black inner city, a Black community, you're going to the welfare office, yes, you're going to see a lot of Black people in there. So I hate when we have this narrative where we're like, well, when I go somewhere, that's all I see. But my question to you would be, how many times have you stepped your foot into other people's communities before you say what happens? Because if you tell me that the hoods are ghetto, it's only where Black people is ghetto and all that goes on, I guess you've never visited the trailer parks on 8 Mile. Okay? So if you go to the trailer parks where all the white people live, then you would see their ghetto, their drug addicts, they fighting, they domestic disputes, they drunk on their front porch, they kids being neglected, child protective services knocking on their door. So it's all about, don't tell me what they don't do if you ain't been in their communities. I'll say that. So, but you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right for the sister that said that. We are not the biggest recipients of welfare. We are not. And shout out to Queen J. Thank you for that. We got a new channel member. Y'all got some new emojis coming up, but you still have Goddess Masterpiece in there. It's unhinged. You can post that if you want. The government is unhinged. If they take these folks' welfare, they're gonna be unhinged. But I got some more emojis I'm working on for the channel members. So shout out to all my channel members, and thank you so much, Queen J, for becoming a channel member tonight. All right, I'm about to bring up. I can see you because you got your camera book here ready. He like, yes, it's showtime. He been waiting for this. That's how you look at your face. You ready? I'm ready to go ahead. How you doing tonight, brother?
Hi, Miss Queen Michi.
How you doing?
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I sure can.
Okay, yes, ma'am. What I really want to discuss with you about is that, Miss Michi, first and foremost, I've been following you for years. Sometimes you don't see me, but I always give up your subscribe. You know how you hit the like button? I always do that. Check that out. Yeah. You'll see me for a lot of years with you. But Miss Michi, bottom line though, I respect a lot of things that you speaking of, and it kind of really hurts me because the fact is that my people don't recognize solemnly right now as far as what's going on. Miss Michi, can you please allow them to know that this is do or die? I'm listening to you.
It is. It is. It is. Like I said, we get comfortable, we get complacent. I will say that there are a lot of people that when I speak, I won't discredit that. A lot of them move and they do what they're supposed to do, and I get that. But
Yes,
there's a
ma'am.
lot that listen and they're entertained in the moment that they're watching the show, and they're like, that was some real shit she said. But guess what they do? They click away from the video and they do nothing about the things that I've said, So for the population that is, those are just people being complacent, but complacent can get you fucked up in life sometimes. So
Yes, ma'am. Also, too, I want you to know, the Queen Amadai, she spoke very highly about you yesterday. And it was cool like that. Cause I don't like y'all going involved with, we ain't gonna get involved with all that dumb shit. But yeah, I don't dig that. But at the end of the day though, she spoke very, very highly about you. And I gotta speak highly about you too.
well, good shout out to Queen Amadai Shakur.
Yes, ma'am.
I've not spoken with her in a while. But absolutely, I've spoken to her offline before, stuff like that. I don't be on here.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And she stopped coming through my algorithms. The funny thing is, when she put my name in the title with Me and Goddess Masterpiece, it actually made her start coming through my algorithm. So now I'm seeing her videos. You too funny like that, because I hadn't seen nothing from her in a while. I wondered if she was still going live. But yeah,
Shut up. Both of y'all funny. Shut up.
All right with me. She all right with me.
Yeah, y'all all right with each other. Yeah, y'all both speak the same thing or whatever, and y'all cool in the game like queens. So I got no beef. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thank you for all your support.
Hey, hold up, because I got to speak to her. Hi, Miss Aries. I love you, baby. I see you.
That bitch Aries, she got fans over here. And
yeah, that's my baby right there. Hey, also, thank you, Miss Michi, and I will support you. And I'm just listening to your live. I love your live. I'm right here. Okay.
Well, thank you. That's it. That's all you want to say, brother?
You damn right. I love you anyway, so I catch you. Don't play with me, girl.
All right. Thank you for coming up.
Bye. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for showing
All right.
love. You have a good night, brother.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me see. I was laughing because Aries, it was funny because on that video when Goddess was trying to roast me, she was like, and if you see that crazy bitch, Aries, if you see her over here, I heard her in the chat. And when she said your name, I hadn't really noticed it in the chat and I was dying, but I remembered it because when you got the membership, I was like, oh, that's who she talking about. She mad at you like she mad at me. That was funny as hell because when you guys said, oh, that's what she's talking about. So shout out to that crazy bitch Aries. She got fans and she got haters already over here. She do. She got haters too. All right, let me bring up the last person I got in the back. Brother Blake K. Pack. How do you say? How you doing, brother?
Hey, Michi, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, I don't know if we spoke before. I was on your previous boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah, we spoke before. We had a conversation before about a situation. I want to first give a shout out, say happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And I want to just let the viewers know that Michi is the real deal. Like, she actually takes her time to help people out. Like, I signed up for the boot camp. This was last year, in the end of last year, and it was very helpful because and I apologize. It took me some time to get back to you, but I had some stuff going on, so I'm getting back on my feet, and I'm actually going back in the recordings and getting my business set up. But I just wanted to say that your boot camps are very informative. A lot of information, a lot of resources in it, and it's so much information in it to the point where I'm overwhelmed. I don't know. I got so much stuff that I want to do. I don't know where to start.
I hear that all the time, but I think that's a good thing. I try and give you as much information because, again, what I find is that people they call what I call paralyzed from wanting to do stuff. They want to do so much, they just stay stuck. But if you just start one thing, I want you to have all the information because most of the times online, a lot of those things will overlap. So once you start one venture and you get it going, there are other things in the class that will complement that, and then you can add that stuff to what you're already doing, and then have several streams. You know, a lot of those things will complement each other. So that's why I give it, and you have the recordings of it, you know, so you could go back to it. But that's what everybody said. They're like, I want to do everything. Just pick one thing, because if you try too much, you'll have your hands in a lot of things and you'll get nothing finished. That's the truth. You know, that's why I tell y'all that. I tell everybody that in the boot camp when we start. Find one thing you know that you can complete and accomplish, get that going, make some sales, get the foundation done. Once it's set up, a lot of those things will kind of run themselves, and then you can begin to work on another thing, you know. But just find one thing and get started. I promise you, you know, it'll be better that way. You'll get something done and you feel good about it, and you start making some money, and then you can always go back to the other stuff.
And that's what I was doing. I'm starting to realize that now I'm like, I need to narrow it down to one thing, and then I can go back and do the other things. So that is very true. Also, I wanted to add that I drew a portrait of you I wanted to send to you, and I meant to. Yeah, and I actually I haven't forgot. I'm going to send you my portfolio, my art portfolio. So I'm working on that. But main reason I got on it because I wanted to touch base. I've been listening to you for a long time. And just about everything you said has actually happened. So like with the layoffs and everything, I'm already seeing it. Like my job, they laid off a bunch of people. I'm seeing people get laid off left and right every day. And I'm like, this stuff is actually happening. So my question is, with everything going on with, you know, the country, the world, especially, I'm pretty sure you see Black men and Black women always, you know, bumping heads about, you know, how do I put it? You see, we're always like at odds with each other, especially in media and everything. Like how do you see this panning out for us as Black men, Black women? And do you have any advice for young Black men like me? I'm 35. I'm not that old. I'm not that young.
No, you're not.
But like for somebody like me that I'm not out here doing the wrong thing, I'm actually trying to do the right thing. Like, do you have any advice as to what young Black men can be doing?
I would say don't worry so much about Black people as a whole coming together and kind of like uniting. I would say to find your tribe, right, of like-minded people that you can connect with. That is a more reasonable task than trying to think that all Black people are going to like kind of get together and we can stop fighting with each other. That's not really humanly possible. There are going to be people that you're not going to like. They're not going to like you, and you're not going to see eye to eye. We must remember that even though we are Black, people have grown up in different situations. Their upbringings are different. Their mindset is different. Their experience are different. So we don't all think alike just because we're Black. And so I know that a lot of times we scream that, you know, let's, you know what I'm saying, let's all unite. I think that you should, you know, unite with the people that are like-minded people that have the same goals as you, and the same things that they want to do, that think like you, okay? And also people that can challenge your thinking, but also in a positive way, you know, not in a way where they're belittling of you, but it is good to be around other people that may have different perspectives, not that they're going against what you're saying, but they can just add to some of the things that you understand. You know, for as much as I know I love to be in a room with people that can teach me something or give me some more advice or expound on the things that I already know, but didn't know it to that level. And so, you know, I never try going in the room and being the smartest person in the room. So be around people. I will also tell you this too, as well as like-minded people, find people that are doing the things that you want to achieve in life, and surround yourself with those people, because they will have advice for you. You can watch them through their actions, and even the energy that they give off will allow you to be in a space that everything from actions to words to energy will be pushing you more towards your goal. So even though when I say like-minded people, there may be people you're around that are where you are right now in life, but I would also say get around those that they're where you want to be in life, because those are the people that you can look at and learn from, you know, to get to where you want to go. But that's what I would say. When you realize that your circle becomes much smaller, but it becomes more powerful because it is more concentrated on the people that work for you in life, you know? So I mean, most people don't want to hear that. And I love people. And the first thing I see a Black person and I see my people, I got love for them. And that's my initial reaction. But I also know that people are people. And just because people are Black, I do not automatically get along with them or care for them to be in my space. And so I want you to look for Black people that you can judge by their character and saying, does their character line up with me? That's what you do. And you unify with a small group of people instead of trying to worry about the number of people.
And I agree with that because I love our people, but I think this between last year and this year alone, I'm already starting to realize my circle is very small now, and I can't be out here trying to save everybody else because it's really affected me to the point where I feel like God has kind of isolated me from everybody, so I can focus and log in on myself finally.
Isolation is good.
Yeah.
Are you okay with being isolated? Most people can't handle that. I like being alone and being in my own thought. I always figure like this in life. Like, do you ever feel like you ask people for advice or you want to know what's going on in your life? And the truth is, if you just sit quiet with yourself long enough, you knew the answer all along. You just be wanting somebody to tell you the right thing. But the truth is, at some point, you got to come to an understanding within yourself, and you got to be the one to wrestle with that. So I always found that if I just go within from the beginning, I don't waste no time because I know what I need to be doing.
See, that's the thing. I'm
just get by myself.
Yeah, I've never been like I can socialize with people. Like growing up, I was always by myself. But as I got older, I started becoming more sociable. But then I'm getting back to being by myself, being comfortable being by myself. I don't need nobody. I'm like, I'm good. Like I started talking to myself, started like tuning in. I'm feeling like a lot of answers that I'm getting from within. So I don't really need to be around a bunch of people. The world's crazy right now. The last thing I wanted to add is when you mentioned earlier, and because I tuned in a little late, the job market, everything. I wanted to ask you, a lot of these jobs are going to become obsolete within. I predict within the next 2-3 years, if sooner than that. Do you think? You probably already said this. Do you think having a skill or a trade or something will be more profitable versus like our people going to college or just trying to
yes,
get a high paying job?
College is going away too. It's not going to be necessary because you're not going to need any of those skills. And so while people are worried about them cutting, like, I don't know if earlier I played a news clip, you said you came in late, but they were saying that some of these cuts in the budget are going to affect the like Pell Grants and giving money for college, but college is going away. Because people aren't going to need those skills to go and do what? The AI is going to be doing everything. And so one skill that people can get that's a trade if you want to be ready for what's coming and you want to stay in the workforce, what you need to do is you guys need to get into tech. You need to understand technology. You need to be the ones that are either repairing the AI systems, creating the AI systems, maintaining them, doing the coding for them. You need coding to make things work. Okay. Also, you can also have skills online, right? Even if you're not doing the tech of creating the technology that's being used, understand that jobs are going to also be online, right? So there's a lot of people, you came into the boot camp. So I'm going to say suggestion to you is that take that information, put something together and start making your own money from all the stuff that you have and the resources for you specifically. But for a general answer for everybody, like if you're not going to make money online, then you need to learn skills that people need for you to have online. So there's a lot of businesses online, right? And so we need things like social media managers. We need people who manage our websites. We need people for marketing, right? And so all of these things that we talk about, they actually have certificates for this stuff for free. If you go to Google, Google has a lot of certificates you can take. You guys can go to Harvard online college, and they have certificates. A lot of colleges do, and you can pay $100 and something for the courses, but they have a lot of like technology courses, like somebody said, cybersecurity, all of these different things, coding, marketing. Google has courses for free. You can take a lot of these courses for free on college sites. and they will charge you $100 and something if you want the certificate. But if you don't want the actual certificate, you can take the classes for free. But understand that to get these type of jobs online, you don't really need the certificate if you have the skills. So we're getting into the era of you don't have to show a degree for the skills that are needed, right? Now, if you are maintaining a multi-million-dollar AI system for Amazon, you may need to show some legitimate certificates. But when you're talking about working online, you can get those skills. And then once again, if we go back to freelancing, if you know how to do marketing, cybersecurity, social media managing, all of these different things that are needed for online, you can also turn around and put your stuff on freelance sites. Remember, I talked about freelance earlier, where you guys, if you have services like, you know, handyman, landscaping, and those things. Well, there are also freelance sites that will pay you for services online. So if you have these skills, you can put your skills on these websites for nothing. Millions of people go to them every day, put them on several sites and say, look, I do video editing, I do social media managing, I do coding, I can create apps for you, right? I can build your website for you. I can do your cybersecurity. I do online marketing, right? And so get into these type of things, because this is the era we're going into. You have to have some type of skill to run people's online businesses for them, or you have to run an online business, or you have to be in tech so that you can manage the AI systems that will be taking all of our jobs. They will need humans for certain positions, but you need those skills to be in those positions. So those are your choices.
And that's true, because I just finished a digital marketing program, certificate program. I'm teaching myself SEO, social media marketing, like LinkedIn, even Verizon. Verizon has like a free online platform where they give you certifications. If you Google Verizon, I think it's Verizon. Just put Verizon Education in Google. You'll find a link, you can sign up, and it's free certification. So there's a lot of resources out there.
And what you were just talking about, that's great, because we make our websites, but what he's talking about, you guys, is the search optimization engine. So that you can build a website, but putting that up on there is very important. Just because you have your website, that's not automatically built in the back. And so the search optimization engine is making sure you have the right keywords and all of the different things in there in the descriptions for each page or each video or whatever it is that you're doing, because that's what will come up on the search for Google. And that really helps whether or not people find your services, even without having to pay Google to promote your site or your ad. That determines how people pull it up and they're able to see it. Like they put those search words in the bar, that determines where your stuff pulls up. And so that's not as easy as it seems. It's in the back of websites when we build them. So what you're talking about, that certificate, and it didn't take very long to get, right? A couple weeks or something. And you get that certificate. Every online website needs that service. And just because somebody has a website does not mean that their search optimization engine is even done. People have websites up and that part isn't even done. And so, what he got takes a couple of weeks, but it's very necessary for online businesses. So y'all obtain those skills. And if you're like Michi, I'm already old enough doing whatever, impart these things in your children. If you're going to push them into certain careers or fields, let them do this stuff now. And even if they're young, like your kids can take these certificates. Like Q, the reason I know that these certificates are online at the colleges and stuff is because Q gives them to the kids. So we have 14, 15, 16-year-old kids who are taking cybersecurity, coding, how to do the search optimization engine, all of those different things that they're taking them, and they're in school and they can take them even at their age. So give these things to your kids because they're more tech savvy. This is the generation and the era they were born into, but you're actually going to give them skills for the future to not be those people who are left without a job. So just think of it, you guys.
I won't take up too much of your time, 'cause I know you've been on for a long time, but I wanted to say a lot of that stuff you taught in the boot camp. So anybody thinking about signing up, is definitely worth it. I'm thinking about getting back on for another boot camp training. But I will definitely follow up with you, Michi. I'm gonna send you an email. I'm gonna send you the portfolio, and we're gonna talk again. I just want to say one last thing I'm gonna say is I have to give you your props, because I see a lot. I don't even like saying conscious community no more, but a lot of people within this realm of what we talk about, I don't see a lot of them doing this, like inviting people on just to talk and actually taking the time to show your face and speak to people directly. So I gotta, give you a shout out for that, because that right there. A lot of people have reservations about doing business and taking courses online. I took a lot of courses online, but this was definitely worth it. But thank you so much, Michi. You really are a real one, I would say that. And
Thank
you remind me of a lot of women back home. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, and they talk just like you, like no cutting corners. You just say what you gotta say, and hey, however you take it is however you take it. But I appreciate your boldness and how you present information, and we'll definitely be in touch. I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming up here. Thank you for that.
No problem.
All right. You have a good night, brother.
You too.
All right. Okay, that was the last person, y'all. Somebody said I'm coming back tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is our official call-in show. I just figured with this topic, and then I was supposed to get live after I roasted Goddess the other day. It was that Monday. It's all the way to Friday. But I've been getting busy and doing shit, so I didn't get around to it. So I figured on this topic, a couple people just might have wanted to come up and say something. So when I do it this way, I'll do one person at a time. But tomorrow we will have our panel at 10 o'clock. We will actually be talking about several things. We're going to talk about Trump cussing people out and stuff. We're going to get into TD Jakes. Also, he has another accuser that came forward. I don't know if you guys heard about that yet, but we're going to talk about that. So we do have a couple of things to get into. We'll have about 3 topics. We'll play some videos or whatever, and we'll bring up our panel of people. So yes, we're going to do our thing on Saturday. I will be here tomorrow. We'll see if it's until the sun come up or not. We'll see. But so yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. This is not in place of that. Again, I just wanted to see if people had a couple of things to say. Shout out to Christina for the super chat. Says I was trying to get that unhinged emoji. I want to favor Goddess for disrespecting you. And yes, the Queen did speak highly of you. Shout out again to Queen Amadai Shakur. I want to say shout out to Beverly. Thank you so much for the Cash App and the happy birthday wishes. I appreciate it. Let me say this. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to have no favor Goddess because she disrespects herself. So something wrong with that girl, and I promise you life finna whoop her ass. So if anything, I can't stand to be watching her like that. Even when I supported her, I would watch sometimes if I'm bored, like what's she talking about, and then I click in and click out because it's usually always drama with her fighting with her baby daddy or something, or her being a horrible mom around her kids. And so but life gonna whoop her ass, I promise you that. I promise you that, because she's her own worst enemy. Also, I'm a Pisces. Where are my Pisces at in the house? I'll say this before I get up out of here on some spiritual shit. Like, as a sign and the energy that we carry, I tell people all the time, I don't know about them February Pisces, but maybe in March ones. We're a little different from February Pisces. We're still Pisces, but I don't know many February Pisces. But I tell people all the time my middle name is Karma. And I don't go out to do nothing to you. So I don't deliberately do people wrong. My intentions are never like shady. I don't have enough energy to give a fuck to fake with somebody to be shady to them, if that makes sense, right? And so my intentions are always pure. And so when I do something right by somebody and they do something wrong to me, my ancestors in life finna whoop your ass. I don't even have to ask it. I don't even have to, I don't gotta light a fucking candle from a dollar store and be dazzled like that bitch. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is have had pure intentions. That's it. That's it, and that's all. I don't have to request anything. I don't have to go manifest nothing. I don't gotta num yo ho renge kyo over my motherfucking altar. I don't do none of that shit. I just move on and I let life take care of their ass, because there is this thing that seems to happen with me in my life. My Pisces can tell me if it works for them too. I don't know if it's a Pisces thing or if it's a Michi thing. But I find that for people who do me wrong in life, especially when I have gone out of my way and to do something good for them, and I've tried to do right by them, and for no reason at all, they just try to do wrong to me, I find that karma shows up in their life, but not just for me. it's like karma shows up for everything they've ever done to anybody. It's like that moment where life say, oh, bitch, you thought you got away with all of those things. Well, it's time to pay the piper. So not only are you going to pay for what you just did to Michi, but you're going to pay for what you did to everybody else, because Goddess is a fake bitch. I'm sure that she has done plenty of shit to other people. You know, she talks about I'm male identifying, whatever the fuck that means. Bitch, you do know, bitch, if you watching that don't even make no sense. Your words are wrong. But I don't see her hanging out with no women. I don't see her with no female friends. As much as she talks shit, bitch, where your friends at? You ain't around no women, because you're the type of woman who hangs out with women. You backstab them. You probably used to sleep with motherfuckers men. You're that type of a woman, right? You act like you're people's friends, but behind their back, you be hating on them. Like you the chick that would tell your friend she look cute in something because y'all about to go out. And you know she look kind of crazy, but you're not going to tell her to change her outfit or to change something because you want her to look like a fool, because it makes you look better. You're that kind of a woman, bitch. So you ain't only been fake to me. You've been fake to a lot of people. And I just want you to know that you're getting ready to pay for everything you've ever done to anybody, not just me. My middle name should be Karma and not Rose. And so I think it's a lovely thing. I love that this energy has followed me all my life. I would never forget my mother did something wrong to me. I was 19 years old. I won't get into what it was. You know, parents and families have their things. I love my mom to death. But my mom did some shit to me when I was about 19. And I remember asking God to not hurt her too bad. That's my mama. That's my mama, so don't get her. But I want you to know life and came and got my mama, whooped her ass about 3 months after she did what she did to me. Everything she tried to do to me, it's like the position came back in on my mother. And it's now she was in the position and God rose me out of the thing she thought that I was going to fall into. And so, you know, my mama not even off limits. I tell people all the time around me, you should tread lightly. If you don't want to fuck with me no more, don't fuck with me no more. But don't deliberately do me wrong when I'm not doing nothing wrong to you. You're going to pay the price, baby. You're going to pay the price, and it's going to hurt your heart. And I will give y'all 2 examples before I get out of here. Dr. Watkins and Vicky Dillard, they both tried to do what to me? Y'all remember they used to come around and Vicky Dillard was paying people. She had a whole army of motherfuckers. And do you remember Dr. Watkins? He would have to fly Nubian queens after I left, like, report my channel. Do you know how much they used to report my channel? Do you remember when that motherfucker left fucking with Vicky and came over and was like, yeah, Vicky used to have us over here reporting your channel all the time, right? So they reported my channel left and right in hopes that I'm going to get my channel taken down or they can stop my growth. Now, I want y'all to take a long, hard look at Dr. Watkins' channels and go look at Vicky's channels, if you care to see exactly what I'm talking about. Everything them motherfuckers wished for me is what happened to them. Go look at Dr. Watkins' channel. At one point, Dr. Watkins had 4, 5 channels. He had pages on YouTube. He had several pages on YouTube. He had pages on Instagram. He had pages on Facebook. All of his pages had hundreds of thousands and thousands of subscribers. He would get tons of views. Well, they took away his Instagram channel a couple of years ago. They just snatched that bitch from him. So he don't have that no more. Thank you. Thank you. What'd you say? No, 123 views. M. Johnson ain't lying. Like, he done failed that. Goddess Masterpiece get more views on her shit than Dr. Watkins do. The very thing he wished for me, I don't even know why the nigga wastes his time going live. Go look at Fly Nubian Queen. Y'all thought it was dead. It is, but it's still around. Them bitches be on there talking and they get what? 200 views. They have 350,000 subscribers. And I can tell you all them subscribers is not fake, because almost 100,000 of them I put on that motherfucking channel. They were real views, because when I was there, we would have thousands and thousands of people watching. Did we not? When I went live, those were real views. Those were real subscribers. That man can't even keep. He got hundreds of thousands. All his platforms got taken away from him. And the ones he have left, nobody watches them. Like, he literally is lucky if he make over 300 views on any video. That video could be a month old. It ain't shit but 200 views on it. Nobody watches him. What he wished for me, he got that shit 100-fold over. Go look at that fake ass bitch Vicky channel. Nobody watches Vicky. Go look at her page. Go look at her number of subscribers. Remember when she thought she was the creme de la crop and all of that shit? If you go look at her page now, nobody watches Vicky. So everything they wished for me actually came back onto them. Everything they hoped for me. They hoped that Michi was going to fall down. They hoped that my page would go away because they couldn't use me and get shit off me. And Vicky was just a hating ass bitch. They all wished to see me destroyed. And look at where I am. I'm a YouTuber who, I'm much more than a YouTuber, but I'm a YouTuber who for 3 years I've been demonetized. Demonetized. Who the fuck go from 3 years to being unmonetized and come back to monetization and kill the game like I am right the fuck now? There were times I didn't talk to y'all for months on end. I have my own network on top of motherfucking YouTube. Dr. Watkins made all that money during the pandemic for his funky ass classes. I still sell my courses the same way they sold during the pandemic. Nothing has changed for me. Things have just gotten greater over time, and both them motherfuckers done fell flat on their motherfucking face. And what views Vicky got, she probably paying for them motherfuckers. So again, that's just one small example. So don't worry about Goddess. Goddess about to get her ass whooped. Life about to beat your ass, girl, if you watching. And all I ever ask, because I am very petty, and because I'm a Pisces, you know, it's two fish. You go both ways in this sense. Like, I'm light, but I'm dark than a motherfucker too. So all I ask is that I see the revenge. I want to see your karma on your head. I want to see your life fall down. Bitch, I want to see you on live crying like a motherfucker. And you can hide and not go live. You will never hide from me. Because she called herself Goddess. I don't give a fuck what her name is. She's not a real goddess. It takes one to know one. And I'll tell you this. I don't have to see my enemies online. I will go to sleep and the universe will show me everything happening to you in a dream. I'm going to see all of the shit that happens to you, whether you post it online or not, because that's the one thing I ask. I'm the one got done wrong. If you going to go get him the karma, I just want to see the shit. When I wake up in the morning, it makes me feel better to know your life ain't shit. Bitch, I don't have no remorse for nobody. And I don't motherfucking pray for my enemies. I don't. I'm glad when my enemies fall, when their family fall, their children, their grandma gets sick. I don't give a fuck. It takes me a lot to be somebody's enemy. And when I get to that point, I don't care. Now you meet the dark side of Pisces. I don't care what happens to you. I gloat in the glory of watching you fall, because with all my heart, I really wanted to see you rise, and I tried to help you because that was genuine. So if I can genuinely want to see you do good in my heart and go out of my way to help you, then bitch, I can rejoice in your downfall. Seems fair to me. So with that said, don't worry about no fade with her. Life about to beat your ass, girl. Mark my words. Shout out to Frey Jones. Thank you for the donation. MX Network says, happy birthday. I adore you and respect how you show up in the world and remain humble and resilient. Thank you. Well, thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. And thank you for all the birthday wishes, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. I know I've been on here going on 4 hours. We're going to get out of here because I will see y'all tomorrow. And we're going to be on here at least 4 hours, if not more tomorrow. So I'm going to get out of here and go get me some rest so I can get some shit done before we have to get on here tomorrow and be on here all night. I thank you all for the birthday wishes. I want to thank everybody for all of the beautiful super chats. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for everybody that gave me cash apps as well. I do want to remind all of you guys one more time if I get up out of here, for anybody sitting here watching, in the description of this video is all kind of discounts for everything all weekend until Monday at midnight. That's my birthday celebration with you guys. I appreciate all the super chats and all of that stuff. But if you ain't took a boot camp or there's something I can help you with, spend your money in that way, right? And then you get something back in return. So all my consultation packages, one-on-ones are on sale. The boot camp, you can get $100 off, and that's the most I'm ever giving y'all off. That's a lot. That's 1/3 of what the course costs. But anyway, you can get $100 off if anybody's interested in the April boot camp that is coming up. And the code to that is in the description of the video. When you check out on the website, you can put in boot camp, and that will give you the $100 off. You put in I don't know. Go down there and look on YouTube in the description box. 25 is 25% off all consultation packages, a 1, a 4, or a mentorship of 12 of them. And then we do have a mentorship group. So if you would like to be in a group setting and you don't need one-on-ones, we do 2 classes a month. You can watch all of the old classes we've already done. We do all kinds of stuff. We just had somebody come in tonight before this live, and we were talking about CBD dispensaries online. I take that back, not CBD. We actually have THC. It's CBD, THC, Delta 8, all of that stuff. And so we were talking about creating dispensaries online. And so we did that tonight, and we get together in a couple more weeks. So anyway, you guys can join that. That is $49.99 a month for the mentorship group, where we do 2 classes a month to help you with your business if you need that extra help until you actually get to where you good and going, okay? And so your first month, for now, because of my birthday special, you could come in for your first month for just $35, okay? So all the codes to everything is down there, you guys. Check them out if you're interested in that. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. I love y'all to life. Thank you for all the love y'all showed me tonight. I truly appreciate it. Good night, y'all.